being that these are the players that we expect to see getting ready about a year from now for that 2027 CFL draft. So with that in mind, and with the nature of these players coming from C to C to C to be able to participate in this event, I want to throw it to you like this for the commentary. I want you to put on, first and foremost, your player hat. Picture you're one of these guys. We're both former O-linemen, but let's put ourselves in the shoes of all these athletes out here. You're doing all the preparation for not just the game itself, the combine work they do, the skills and drills they have out here, and you want to obviously put on your best performance. What's the mentality for the players themselves coming into this type of a game to be able to put on the best showing they can as an individual, while recognizing as well, obviously we play the greatest team sport there is out there, and sometimes your number's not always called. How do you balance that aspect as a player of wanting to show the best you can, put it on film, while knowing that it's not always going to be your moment in your time?
It's really just about understanding that you're not just performing in front of fans or in front of a camera that's only going to see the really big plays. You're performing in front of CFL scouts who understand an offensive lineman or defensive lineman or somebody else who's not making the play is still just as, if not even more so important, to make sure that everything goes properly here. So it's not about doing so much to try to stand out and try to do anything and everything that you can. It's more so about understanding your role and performing to the very highest of levels, and trusting the fact that people here are going to see and going to respect what you are actively doing on every single play and every single day, bringing that positive attitude, helping each other out, talking to your teammates, building that chemistry, and really making sure that everybody on your team succeeds, because if that happens, you succeed too.
So let's switch gears then. Let's take off the player hat and put on the recruiting hat. What is it that, from the aspect of the CFL scouts out here, and some of the coaches as well, as we've talked about, and I'm sure we'll get into a little bit, we have coaches from all across U Sports with some of their players here, some of those players who are coming from programs where they're actually in a bit of a competition battle. But let's just turn the tables to look at from that recruiting standpoint. How do you evaluate this type of event, knowing that there's players coming into systems that, as we'll talk about in a moment, from the coaching standpoint, you try to provide systems that are fairly standard, using language that's fairly universal, but that, again, you have players outside their normal confines, their normal systems. What is it for the recruiters, the scouts out here, in terms of evaluating this specific type of event versus when you see a player in their home environment, and the difference between those types of situations?
I think it's incredibly important to take all of this in, especially because of the fact that if all of these players or some of these players are lucky enough to get drafted and go to the CFL, they're going to be in a different system that they typically are at their school. So understanding how quickly can they get a hold of the new system that they're playing in, how fast can they gain chemistry with all of these new players that they haven't had a chance to really work with yet, is going to be a direct comparison to what's going to happen in the CFL draft. So I really want to see who can best perform in this scenario, who's best playing like themselves, like they normally do at the university level, and who is still standing out among the rest of the best that we have across the country.
Now, before we switch gears into the coaching perspective in terms of this type of event, let's stay on the evaluation standpoint, because again, you've been here this week. This game is littered with players who we have just been enthralled with throughout their careers. You brought up a point earlier in this week that the kind of amazing thing of Est-Ouest is it kind of makes you realize, oh my gosh, some of these players are only in their third year, and it feels like we've been watching them and talking about them for so long. But so while we're sticking on that evaluation piece, who are some of the names, some of the players that you've been particularly impressed by in seeing them in practice? You were here for the competitive crossover day they had on Wednesday. We got to see some of the results from the combine, which always is telling, but sometimes you don't want to put too much stock into that. So taking all those things into consideration, who have been some of the guys that have stood out for you thus far that you're really keen to see now in the game itself?
I'm really excited for the quarterback play going into this, of course, but especially Tristan Aboud and Elijah Barnes from Team West and Team East have been playing phenomenally. They've been connecting with their receivers really well. Trey Ryder and Nick Domovsky as well. A lot of stuff to prove for the two of them, so this is an incredible opportunity for them to really raise their stock and to gain that confidence going into their next year. Up front, because of course we have to talk about up front, on Team East, Matisse St. Germain, offensive lineman out of Montreal, looks incredible. He's got the size, he's got the strength, but the speed as well. What he's able to do and how he's able to move is why he's one of the top-rated offensive line prospects that that we have at this combine. And of course, looking on the other side, a guy like Reed Kluche or my guy in Christian Cote out of McMaster, the two of them together on the same side as that guard tackle combination. I'm expecting some really big things from the two of them, along with Matisse on the other side. But those are just a couple of the guys on the offensive side that I've been really impressed with.
And no doubt we'll talk about the defenses. No doubt we'll go back into the trenches and talking about the run games as well, because he brought the quarterbacks, but some immensely talented running backs here as well. I mean, you point at any of these names, they're supremely talented. But before we dive back into that detail, let's have you put on the last hat, the coaching hat. Again, we have coaches from all across U Sports here, the best of the best. And we talk about this all the time. Coaching oftentimes is very simple in terms of the fundamentals. Sometimes people use different language for concepts, but there's a lot of similarities. Put on your coaching hat and talk to me and talk to the folks out there watching about how you try to present a system for these athletes, some of which you no doubt have worked with as the coaches, many of whom you've scouted, you've recruited, but to be able to give them a platform to be able to shine, because at the end of the day, it's all about the players out there on the field and giving them the opportunity.
Certainly, there's a reason why all of these players are here right now. It's because they are great at what they do. And as a coach coaching in this game, I don't want to change that. I want to try to give them the best kind of guidance as I possibly can to make sure they are maximizing their potential without changing any aspect of their game that led them to be one of the very best in the country to get into the East-West Bowl. So here, I'm understanding the concepts from our coordinators, whether that's defensively or offensively, making sure that the routes or the drills that I'm doing are directly comparing to those offensive or defensive concepts, but then just letting them play. Let them ball. There's a reason why these guys are here, and if you try to stifle them or you try to change their mentality or their mindset or their technique, then you might not get the very best out of them. So it's really about setting them up, putting them in a position, and then just saying, go nuts.
And let's go back to talking about the players themselves. And we, former O-lineman here, Tom from the University of Master, myself from the University of Guelph. And that's obviously where our eyes are going to be taken to, because they have such great players. You mentioned some of the linemen there. We haven't got to the running backs, but in the last few years, this has been more of a defensive battle, as we've seen. Partly, I think that plays to a bit of that old school philosophy. Again, we're biased on the offensive side, but that offensive takes a little more time to not just learn the plays, but then get that connection, whether it's O-linemen playing next to one another, whether it's the quarterback-receiver connections. You've been mentioning some of the quarterbacks and receivers from different teams actually finding some really strong connection thus far. But then, again, let's have that consideration of how do we balance knowing that the offensive side might be a little harder to fill out. Defense, they get to fly around the ball, fill their gaps, just play man coverage or in their zone, whatever it might be. I'm oversimplifying the defensive side. I understand that. Don't get too mad at me. I'm an offensive guy first and foremost. But what's traditionally a defensive battle, is that what you're expecting to see here, even despite some of the offensive talent we've already highlighted and no doubt more talent out there?
Certainly, I would expect the defenses to play at a slightly higher level than the offenses, exactly for that reason. There's more connection that's needed on the offense. There's more time that's typically needed for them to really catch a groove here. Now, again, that's in a typical setting. These are the best of the best, so we might see a bit of an offensive showcase. We would love to see that. But when you've got the talent that both of these defenses have, when you have outstanding players at every single level, we are expecting those defenses to really come off and do the thing. With Chris Ansey, defensive coordinator for Team West, and Will Mulligan, defensive coordinator for Team East, the two of them are very, very good at what they do, and expect them to have both of their players playing at the very highest of levels. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that defensive showcase like you were mentioning.
And if you're seeing the backdrop behind us move to and fro, don't fret. It is a beautiful day out here, if only a touch windy. The sun is shining. It is set to be a great affair. The stands are starting to fill in. If there are still tickets available and you're in the area, you better get yourself down here. It's always a great time being at Warrior Field for events like this, or just the regular season action. Tom, let's take it to the trenches, because obviously that's where our eyes are going to first and foremost. And also, when you do think about this being a showcase to preview the draft next year, often it is those Canadian big guys up front in both sides of the ball that often are the prime targets for some of those high draft picks. We just saw Queens' Nicholas Henning go so high in the draft, also get his looks coming out from the NFL as well. So let's talk about some of the guys up front on both sides of the ball. You mentioned a few of them already. Who are you looking forward to seeing in this game to be able to really open up some gaps, really shut down some run games on the defensive side, and be a menace for these incredible quarterbacks out here?
Well, you already mentioned it. I am a McMaster guy. I don't want to show my bias too much, but from Team East on the D-line, Dom Lamani looks incredible. I think he's gotten better and better since the season has finished up. And at that 3-tech position, he has not only been a great run stopper, but has been working on his pass setting as well, or his pass rush, I should say, getting into that quarterback, getting into the backfield, and just disrupting things. So I'm expecting a big moment from him. The other guy, Elias Amelin from Ottawa, defensive lineman and defensive end specifically, has really opened some eyes here. Getting a chance to speak with Coach Taggart, coaching up the D-line for Team East, and he mentioned he's got a great motor. He has the size, he's got the strength, but the motor in particular is really what's helping to set him apart on that D-line, coming out and really not giving up on any plays, whether you're on the front side or the back side of a play. That's what can help get you really noticed. You might have great technique, you might have great strength and everything, but if you showcase a motor and that you're willing to chase down a play regardless of where that is, that oftentimes is the extra bit that will get you drafted into the CFL.
And, as we're sticking with the D-line play, Jamari Brown, defensive lineman out of St. Mary's, a defense that has been one of the tops in all of U Sports, has been really impressive, and I'm excited to see him in this showcase because another thing that's so fascinating with this type of matchup is, save for when we get into the UTEC, the Mitchell Bowl, where we get to see the best of the best from each conference. The folks that like to comment on U Sports football, we always do have that question of how is the talent distribution, because you just look at the results from Vanier Cups and those national semifinals. Schools out of the Est-Ouest sometimes are ending up on the shorter end of that stick, but it's not to undersell the talent coming out of those schools. How important is it, especially for some of the players out of the Est-Ouest, given there sometimes is that bias towards the football there, to be on this field? And once if you look at the helmets, if you've seen them yet, they're littered with all the schools out here. But once you remove this player's from this school, this player's from this conference, so on and so forth, how important is it, especially from players from some of the smaller schools, to be able to show on the biggest stage with the best players, I can hang with anybody?
100%. Especially, it's not just the guys out of the AUS, but it's anybody in their university career that has had something where, there's a position battle that might be going on, or maybe I didn't feel like I was giving my best last year, or whatever the case. Certainly in a few of the scenarios that we just gave, with a guy like Elijah Barnes or a guy like Trey Ryder, who are actively in those quarterbacking battles, maybe they didn't get a chance to play the entire season. This is their time right now. This is your chance to show. This is why I think I should be the guy at my respective schools, because I'm going to ball out, I'm going to do my thing, and I'm really going to showcase why I deserve to be in this conversation. So it's a huge opportunity for anybody in that scenario. Maybe in the AUS even more so, because there is that stigma, like you were mentioning, with a lot of teams and a lot of people feeling that some sort of way about the AUS in general. But everybody, this is a monumental opportunity for people to showcase how good they can be and how good they deserve to be, or how much they deserve to be looked at to playing at the next level.
And as we're talking, the teams are going through their indie drills, a little pass on air to get us ready. We're about 45 minutes away from kickoff. Again, when we're done here with the preview, we'll throw it to commercial before sending it up to Adam McGuire and Deshaun Stevens with the call for the game itself. Now, Tom, as we look around at all these great players out here, all the just pageantry of this amazing event, again, here from Warrior Field on the campus of the University of Waterloo, it brings to mind years past, players who've not just been able to use this as a showcase of their talents as our backdrop flies away, but also to be able to, again, prepare them for the CFL draft. We're coming off the CFL draft of about 2 weeks back. Obviously, one of the things that people look for is how players perform in the combine at this event. And we talk about this a lot. How important is that? But from the standpoint of, even if those numbers in a vacuum aren't important, it gives coaches, it gives recruits a baseline of how did you do in a high-stress environment, a high-pressure environment like Est-Ouest, and then how did you continue to grow? How did you take care of your body on and off the field for the combine when you're getting ready a year from now in the CFL draft? Again, a lot of people have different opinions of combines, but that's certainly one of the things that makes a big difference, is being able to show that continued growth from your East-West drills to be able to get prepared for the combine itself, for the CFL draft.
Certainly, and one of the biggest aspects here that the CFL draft uses, when they go out, you'll give you a sheet and it'll say this is the player, this is their stats, whatever else. They will showcase 2025 or 2026 East-West Bowl stats. How much did they bench? What was their 40? All of those things, and then they'll showcase right next to it, okay, here's a spot where you can fill in all of their additional numbers. And for that, when I've talked to a lot of the CFL scouts, it isn't necessarily, obviously you want the best numbers, the biggest or whatever, but it isn't necessarily about who we're putting up bench like 40 times or whatever. It's who's growing from last year to this year. Were you able to put in a few extra reps on your bench? Were you able to get your 40-yard dash time down by even a couple of 0.001 second or anything else? Are you able to continuously get better year over year, or did you stay the same, or even worse, did you go backwards? This is a great barometer as a litmus test, or as the bottom base of where a lot of these athletes are, and we'll see if they can continue to grow, what that looks like for them next year, and hopefully a number of them, if not all of them, are in that CFL draft process.
And we won't go through all the numbers, but there was obviously a number of standouts from that combine. Your guy, Cody Blackshaw, with the Laurier Golden Hawks putting up the clubhouse high for the bench press. A guy in Philip Forteza handling the punting, kicking duties, coming out of Laval, putting up some really stellar numbers. And I want to stay on not Philip in specific, but Laval to make this point as well of the nature of this game. You were part of arguably one of the greatest games in U Sports history, that 2011 Vanier Cup championship game in which your McMaster Marauders were victorious over the Laval Rouge or out in BC Place. And part of the story I know from talking with yourself and all the folks that were around that program, Coach P, was the importance of going to play that team in a preseason matchup. And regardless of the outcome, especially when it is a club like Laval, and there's obviously teams from all across U Sports that have that mystique, if you will, whether it's clubs like the Western Mustangs, the Montreal Carabins, so many of these clubs that when you get to those national semifinals or a Vanier Cup, if you haven't had a taste of what it's like to compete with or against them, that is an advantage. What does that play into a game like this when you have players from, again, all across U Sports, being able to compete against and with players from the best of the best in terms of being able to say, you know what? They're just another football player. Yes, they go to a remarkable school. They put up great numbers. They do this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, football is football. How much does that impact just playing off of your experience, having been in so many of those high-leverage national semi and Vanier Cup games, being able to have a bit of that experience to quell that mystique that a number of these high-profile programs have across U Sports?
Most definitely. I don't think that without that 2011 preseason game that we played against Laval, I don't know how well we at least start that game in the Vanier Cup that last year, because that mystique was gone. And a very big aspect of this is doing that same thing. You see the guys at Laval, but a few other times you might say, okay, no, this is why they are so good. When you got a guy like Philip Forteza as a kicker, put it up 22 on the bench, you go, yeah, okay, that's pretty outstanding. And the linebacking core that's in Team East here with what they're doing, of course, outstanding players, but certainly you start looking around and saying, you know what, I feel like I can compete at this level. I think I can make sure that I'm not out of place with the best of the best across the country here. That gives me more motivation as an individual player, and something that I can bring back to my university and saying, hey guys, like, once we get into this level, if we get into a national stage, like, we can play with these guys. We can make sure that we are at the very top like everybody else is. This is not a team to fear. If anything, we should have more confidence in ourselves and continuing to move up.
Now, Tom, as we approach half an hour until kickoff, the last thing I want to throw your way, we had a conversation earlier this week about some of the players out there that were particularly excited to go and do their thing, some of whom we've talked about already, and those are players that we've seen be able to perform at the highest level in their clubs. But we also talked about that despite this being an all-star showcase of the best, a game littered with all-stars from their respective conferences, all Canadians, Vanier Cup champions, there still are also a handful of players that can really use this event to springboard their proverbial stock, not just in the eyes of the CFL, NFL scouts and recruits, but also just within the ranks of U Sports itself. Who are a couple of the players out here? We mentioned them already. Let's talk more about them. But who are some of the players that you're really excited to watch go into this game just because of all the things we've seen from them thus far? They are those high-profile players to begin with, but also who are some of those players that maybe don't get as much of the headlines, as much of the conversation, whether it's because of the position they play, the school they come from, anything and everything in between, who we think coming out of this game, you think coming out of this game, may all of a sudden be on the radar a little more for folks around U Sports, CFL, and NFL?
Well, A guy that I was so excited to see and that we have talked about a lot is Suleiman Kamara, running back for Team East here out of the University of Ottawa GGs. I think he's really put on an incredible showcase and shown why he was so productive with Ottawa. I think he's only going to get better and better. And his teammate as well in that same room, Lucas Dembele-Bertol, out of the University of Montreal Carabin. I am so excited to see this guy up close and personal and how he can do his thing. It's truly been incredible to watch so far. On Team West, there is a guy out there that I am so excited to see, and that's Ryan Hughes, wide receiver out of Laurier. He and Tristan Aboud have had a phenomenal chemistry so far within the West here, but I'm confident, regardless of who's throwing him the ball, he will showcase what he is able to do and continue to rise on his draft stock. Obviously, outstanding at what he's been doing at Laurier, but continuing on that path here as well. There's so many guys out here that I am excited to see, but those are just a few of the guys that I will say right now. You can look top to bottom of this list and say, that guy's a stud, that guy's a stud, that guy's a stud. There is no shortage of talent on this field.
And for me, I think a duo of players coming out of the University of Calgary I'm really excited to see are Evan Smith and Matthew Clark, fullback and running back for that program, and for no other reason than that was a program that relied heavily on their pass game, which with David Jordan out there was one of the best, not just in Can West, but across all of U Sports, and it really showcased for those two why perhaps Coach Cia needs to hand the ball off a little bit more to make that offense a little more well-rounded, but again, with the threats they have in the air, that program is in good shape offensively. I suppose the true last thing I want to ask you, because you brought up Tristan Aboud and Ryan Hughes and the connection that they've had. We talk about this quite a bit, of how difficult it can be for players, whether it's quarterback, receiver, who might not get all the reps they have in the world, why we don't love when players are getting shuffled in and out all that regularly, or whether it's O-linemen not playing together all the time, and how that chemistry, whether it's in the trenches, quarterback to receiver, or even DBs, and the communication it takes for them to be able to just respond to what they're seeing with their eyes. What's the key in terms of a guy like Aboud and a guy like Hughes, just to use the two examples you brought up, in their being able to say, we've never played a down of football or thrown the ball around in our lives, being able to make that connection? Like, what does that really show about two athletes being able to blend it together seemingly as smoothly as they have from what you've seen so far?
It really showcases that these guys are some of the best of the best. This is why they are so highly regarded amongst the entire league. It's not just because of the talent, but it's because of the chemistry that they're able to get almost in a heartbeat, and how well they're able to play with brand new teammates that I haven't had a chance to play with ever before in just a week's time. So this is something that really raises your stock. If you can build that chemistry with these guys like that, that's an incredible showcase, and what I'm expecting to see everybody in some way, shape, or form really show.
Well, the stands are continuing to fill up here. The teams are continuing to go through their pregame warm-ups. Again, about a half hour away from it before we throw it up to the broadcast booth with the call. Tom, what are some of your final thoughts, notes that you're excited for going into the 2026 East-West game?
I've mentioned this before, but this is easily one of my absolute favorite events that we've ever had a chance to really be a part of. East-West in general is always just such an incredible showcase of the Canadian talent across the board in the U Sports level. Getting a chance to see guys from Laurier play with guys like Lester, or somebody from Saskatchewan playing with somebody from Regina, and so on and so forth. That's really what some of the magic from this game comes from here. How well they can play together, how well they can showcase themselves while also working with their new teammates is really what's going to be the litmus test for how well they can perform at the CFL level. I am so excited for this day. I'm so excited I got a chance to break this down with you, and I'm so excited to watch this game.
To pick up on what you said there, it's just such a great showcase of the family unit that is Canadian football at all levels. One of the crown jewels of not just the U Sports schedule, but the Canadian football schedule that there is all year. I'm so excited to be here. I can't wait to get down there and get to watch, to mix it up with some of the players and coaches we know, to come out of this game, no doubt, with a deeper insight into some of these players going into next year, going into the CFL draft. Such a privilege to be here. Again, thank you to everyone from the University of Waterloo for not just putting on this event, but allowing us to be here to set up the game for you. So that'll do it for us. We're going to hit to commercial before Adam McGuire and Deshaun Stevens take it the rest of the way for the game. We have been Zachary Bershama and Tom Sterling from At the 55. Thank you for tuning in.
As an elite hockey player, I've seen concussions change lives. That's why I co-founded Waterloo startup Headfirst. Our saliva test gives fast, objective results from anywhere.
When the world feels off course, Waterloo is on it. We step up to the challenge and take the lead. We add AI to the operating room to detect cancer in seconds. We invent a test that catches concussions faster, and we design AI that supports us rather than steers us. Whether it's today's challenges or tomorrow's, Waterloo is on it. Hey changemakers, change it up. Turn ideas into action, passion into purpose, and questions into real solutions. Because whatever path you choose, here you'll make an impact and get ready to change the world. Make your change. Discover your story at Waterloo.
Early mornings, late nights, every rep, every sacrifice leading to this. Fueled by BioSteel, the best get the chance to make their mark. One weekend, one shot at glory.
As an elite hockey player, I've seen concussions change lives. That's why I co-founded Waterloo Startup Headfirst. Our saliva test gives fast, objective results from anywhere.
When the world feels off course, Waterloo is on it. We step up to the challenge and take the lead. We add AI to the operating room to detect cancer in seconds. We invent a test that catches concussions faster, and we design AI that supports us rather than steers us. Whether it's today's challenges or tomorrow's, Waterloo is on it. Hey changemakers, change it up. Turn ideas into action, passion into purpose, and questions into real solutions. Because whatever path you choose, here you'll make an impact and get ready to change the world. Make your change. Discover your story at Waterloo.
Early mornings, late nights, every rep, every sacrifice leading to this. Fueled by BioSteel, the best get the chance to make their mark. One weekend, one shot at glory.
As an elite hockey player, I've seen concussions change lives. That's why I co-founded Waterloo Startup Headfirst. Our saliva test gives fast, objective results from anywhere.
When the world feels off course, Waterloo is on it. We step up to the challenge and take the lead. We add AI to the operating room to detect cancer in seconds. We invent a test that catches concussions faster, and we design AI that supports us rather than steers us. Whether it's today's challenges or tomorrow's, Waterloo is on it. Hey, change makers, change it up. Turn ideas into action, passion into purpose, and questions into real solutions. Because whatever path you choose, here you'll make an impact and get ready to change the world. Make your change. Discover your story at Waterloo.
Early mornings, late nights, every rep, every sacrifice leading to this. Fueled by BioSteel, the best get the chance to make their mark. One weekend, one shot at glory.
As an elite hockey player, I've seen concussions change lives. That's why I co-founded Waterloo Startup Headfirst. Our saliva test gives fast, objective results from anywhere.
When the world feels off course, Waterloo is on it. We step up to the challenge and take the lead. We add AI to the operating room to detect cancer in seconds. We invent a test that catches concussions faster, and we design AI that supports us rather than steers us. Whether it's today's challenges or tomorrow's, Waterloo is on it. Hey, change makers, change it up. Turn ideas into action, passion into purpose, and questions into real solutions. Because whatever path you choose, here you'll make an impact and get ready to change the world. Make your change. Discover your story at Waterloo.
Early mornings, late nights, every rep, every sacrifice leading to this. Fueled by BioSteel, the best get the chance to make their mark. One weekend, one shot at glory.
As an elite hockey player, I've seen concussions change lives. That's why I co-founded Waterloo Startup Headfirst. Our saliva test gives fast, objective results from anywhere.
When the world feels off course, Waterloo is on it. We step up to the challenge and take the lead. We add AI to the operating room to detect cancer in seconds. We invent a test that catches concussions faster, and we design AI that supports us rather than steers us. Whether it's today's challenges or tomorrow's, Waterloo is on it. Hey, changemakers, change it up. Turn ideas into action, passion into purpose, and questions into real solutions. Because whatever path you choose, here you'll make an impact and get ready to change the world. Make your change. Discover your story at Waterloo.
Early mornings, late nights, every rep, every sacrifice leading to this. Fueled by BioSteel, the best get the chance to make their mark. One weekend, one shot at glory.
La seule chose qui te préoccupe, c'est la gloire. Le cheminement de la réussite. Of pushing yourself further than ever before. But the true glory is in the shadows. Les sacrifices que tu fais. Quand toutes les chances sont contre toi. When you can't push one more second. Chase the glory. Visez haut.
Back at quarterback, they're bringing back one more receiver. Got a receiver out here who's learning, who's battled injury. So this is a good test for him, and they have a decent O-line. Queens lost a lot of guys. Right? Let's run on right now. Where are you going? They'll let us know.
Live from Warrior Field on the North Campus of the University of Waterloo. It's the 2026 East-West Bowl. My name is Adam McGuire, and alongside me, Deshaun Stevens from Persevere. Deshaun, it's been another outstanding East-West week here in Waterloo. All week, these players have been here showing their stuff in the field house behind us, on the field in front of us, and now, game day. What are you looking forward to the most now that we're ready for kickoff?
Adam, time flies. This is not our first year here. This is not our second year here. This is our third year here, and once again, some of the brightest, young, soon-to-be draft-eligible athletes here today at Warrior Field in Waterloo. And honestly, what I'm looking forward to is a pretty balanced game. This is one of the more balanced East-West Bowls that we've seen in recent years. On the East, you got some great athletes from some of the schools in the AUS, and of course, in the RSCQ, the defending national champion Montreal Caravans have some players that'll be on the field today. And on the West, again, some of the great talents in the OUA, some of the great talents in the Canada West, some of the Saskatchewan Huskies in there as well. But across the board, I think this has been one of the more balanced years that we've seen. Some players switching positions throughout the week, so we'll get a look at that as well. Some great quarterback play, some great running back play, and I think some great defensive linemen as well, Adam. So listen, if you're a football fan, this is the game you want to be watching right now. I'm super excited, extremely excited for what we're going to see today.
Yeah, it will be a super entertaining game as usual. And Deshaun, you mentioned it, the play on the defensive line. That's often in these kind of short week all-star games where you can really see the athleticism of some of those guys in the trenches. It's going to be one of those games, I think, where quarterbacks will have a little less time to drop back and throw just because of the sheer talent, speed, and tenacity on the defensive lines on both sides of these sidelines.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, games are won in the trenches, right? I think games are won in the trenches. Traditionally, offensive linemen have been some of the more, I think, draft-attractable talent for CFL and some of the NFL teams as well. And you know, the defensive linemen just only continue getting more athletic in youth sports. You're starting to see some defensive linemen running, 4.9s and 4.8s. And to believe we're at a point like that now where the defensive talent across the country is that athletic, it's quite unbelievable. But yeah, I mean, you win championships in the trenches. And I think when it comes to East-West Week, you know, scouts are always looking at the big boys in the trenches to see what they could do. The big boys up front on both ends of the ball for sure.
So the East will kick it off to West, and the wind will be a subject today for sure. Philippe Forteza of Laval will be kicking into the wind to see if the ball will stay on the tee for him. Returning the kick back for the West will be Waterloo's Logan Haru, as well as McMaster's Isaiah Shields. We'll see where the ball goes to as we are just about underway. The 2026 East-West Bowl ball is up in the air. Really good kick into the wind. Takes 2 bounces, and Haru will pick it up. Logan Haru bounces to the outside and goes up and over and gives the West a decent starting position around the 24-yard line.
Yep, and in at quarterback, it looks like we're going to have from Guelph, Tristan Aboud. Aboud took over as a starting quarterback this past season at Guelph, and Guelph had a fantastic season, squeezing into the OUA playoffs with the 7th seed, becoming the first 7 seed actually to win their first-round playoff game, of course, against the Western Mustangs, and that fantastic finish that I think we saw went viral. But Aboud had a great week, and he's attracted a lot of great attention from scouts across the CFL for sure.
Aboud with the signal call. Matthew Clark of Calgary in the backfield. Play action, they're going to go vertical right away, downfield. It's caught. It's Ryan Hughes of the Laurier Golden Hawks cutting back. Hughes still on his feet all the way inside the 10. How's that for a start to the East-West Bowl?
What a play. What a play to start the game. Tristan Aboud to Ryan Hughes. Ryan Hughes, amazing season out of Laurier, taking over the reins and really becoming the next #1 receiver for that program, obviously with the departure of Ethan Jordan. And listen, you get a look right there at Ethan Hughes. He is a deep ball threat. Ran a goal right out the gates, ran a fly, beat his DB, found himself wide open, was able to get some yards after the catch and put them in scoring position inside the red zone.
Marshall Nias, Mason Nias, the head coach of Saskatchewan, the offensive coordinator today, dialed that one up as on first down, Matthew Clark is tackled for a modest gain.
So you're inside the red zone, fresh set of downs, electric start to the game. You want to slow down a little bit, right? See what the line is giving you, hand it off to your running back, test that run game, give that offensive line some run pass option, right? And see what you can do. But this is a good start right now for the West team, really and truly.
Second down and goal from the 7. Scott Flory, the head coach of Saskatchewan, the head coach here of Team West. See what he and Nios draw up this time. Aboud runs out of time and is taken down. Dominic Lamani from McMaster on the tackle, so that'll bring up third down. And will the West go for it here? It looks like the offense is staying on the field.
Yeah, right there the pocket broke down. You had MLS from Ottawa, the defensive end, actually came through, forced some pressure on Tristan Aboud, forced him to move up and eventually get into that sack. But that was a great rush by that defensive line, 100%.
On third down, Aboud to the end zone, too far, out of the reach of his Griffin teammate Willem Arsenault. And the big play from Ryan Hughes leads to no points for Team West as they got aggressive early on. That'll be a turnover on downs.
And you know what? If you're the East defense, 10 out of 10. Listen, you gave up a big play on the first play of the game, right? A big pass from Aboud to Ryan Hughes, but you were able to recover, stay calm, composed, and collected. Right, your defensive line did an amazing job applying pressure and breaking down the pocket. And, of course, your secondary did a great job of locking up those receivers and letting no options open in the end zone.
Quarterback for Team East to start here is Elijah Barnes, the lefty from Carleton. He has a completion, but it doesn't go for much. It was Nate Ankers from McMaster, the fullback, but maybe just back to the original line of scrimmage.
Elijah Barnes, again, another quarterback in this game that's received a lot of great attention. 6'6" from Hamilton, Ontario in his third year. Had an amazing season with the Carleton Ravens. A little bit of a dual threat quarterback, and like you said, left-handed. So he's received a lot of attention this week, and I've seen him grow a lot this week as well and gain a lot of confidence in his game.
He can sling it as well. He's got a long ball in his arsenal as he is flushed out of the pocket. And on the run, finds Cedric Smith from Queens. Smith breaks a tackle, but only back to the original line of scrimmage. And just like we talked about off the top, Deshaun, the defensive line being disruptive on both sides here early on.
There you go. You win the game in the trenches. They forced Elijah Barnes to get out of the pocket, roll out. He found Cedric Smith on the comeback. Of course, wasn't enough to get the first down, and there you go. Off the field and sending your offense back on. Amazing job by the West defense.
It's Evan Martin joining Haru to return this punt from Laval's Forteza, who averaged 42.1 yards. He's not going to kick it away, though, into the wind. He's just going to kneel and concede the safety and put the West on the board first.
Forteza has quite a leg. I was kind of hoping he'd kick it. I know in Canadian football, you know that the pattern is you take the knee in the end zone, you concede the rouge, but I was hoping he'd kick it, show off that leg early, but I'm sure we'll see it eventually, man. Forteza has a huge leg coming out of Laval, man, and he's a linebacker that switched over to kicker, and of course, if you've heard that name before, a couple years ago in that Vanier Cup, put up a lot of points on the board for the Rouge et Or in their Vanier Cup win against Laurier, so hopefully we'll see a little bit of him today. Tristan Aboud back in at quarterback.
Aboud back in, as you mentioned. Riley Michaud from UBC out of the backfield gets the reception from Aboud, and the first down of this drive will push the ball close to midfield for Team West.
I like that. Last drive, you started big. You had the Ryan Hughes explosion down the sideline. This time, let's just give a little check down. Let's give a little pitch pass out the back, right? Out the backfield. See what we can do with Michaud. When he picked up some yards, first down, move the chains. What more do you want?
Michaud only 3 games last year, but had 153 yards rushing. Had an 88-yard game against Saskatchewan. There he is again, a little swing pass out of the backfield, and he'll dive ahead for a gain of 6 on first down.
And what I like about that is Tristan Aboud went through his reads, right? He checked the field side, nothing was there. He checked the middle of the field, nothing was there. And, of course, he handed off to Michaud. That was his check down read, his third option. Of course, Michaud was able to pick up some yards and almost move the chains. They're halfway home to a first down, right? You want to keep the ball in your hands, keep the ball in the field, and keep those chains moving. Second down.
Big for Aboud, too. He had 7 touchdowns, but 7 interceptions a year ago. So to be able to make the right play and gain 6 on first downs, big for him. As now Aboud will look downfield. He's going to tuck it again, and he's going to get a first down. Big Tristan Aboud will be off to training camp with the Toronto Argonauts when he's done here as part of the CFL's intern program.
And I like what Tristan Aboud did there. You're going to see Marshall McCray coming in, number 15. But Tristan Aboud, again, went through his reads. And like you said, a big thing for him last year was interceptions. He's taking care of the ball. Went through his reads, saw nothing there, didn't want to force anything, decided to run the ball and move the chains.
So Nick Domovsky in at quarterback. Marshall McCray in the slot. Keep an eye on him.
Oh.
Bit of a trickery here. McCray, who's a quarterback at 12, he's going to look downfield. Instead, though, he'll turn the corner, and he'll turn a loss into a gain of about 4. The electric Marshall McCray, who had 10 rushing touchdowns for the Griffins.
So a little bit about Marshall McCray. Of course, you alluded to it earlier. Quarterback at Guelph. Splitting reps with Tristan Aboud this past season or for the last handful of years. This week at East-West, Marshall McCray was a receiver, so they had him lining up in the slot, but they've been using him a little bit in the Wildcat, using him a little bit for trick plays. They just want to see what they can do to get the balls in his hands. He's an extremely athletic player.
And a familiar connection to a legend in these parts, the cousin of Trey and Tyrell Ford. As now Aboud in the middle of the field, another completion. This one to Torium, Eric Torium from the Alberta Golden Bears. Pulled that one in and took the lick. First down for Team West.
And I like how Tristan Aboud stood in the pocket. He saw Torium, stared him down, and waited for that window to open and threw a dot right down the middle, past those DBs to move the chains for the first down.
Torium off a year with 22 catches for the Golden Bears. A bit of a rebuilding year for Alberta, but certainly will be part of their offense, a big part of their offense coming up this year. Now a little swing pass. It was a lateral. It's a trick play. Down to the end zone, and it's knocked away. The defensive play by the hometown DB, Isaac Porter. There's a flag on the field. And it is against Team West, as referee Kevin Baird tells us. The swing pass came out to Matthew Clark from Calgary out of the backfield. And then Clark tried to go deep.
And you know what? You got to give Isaac Porter a lot of credit on that play because that was a 50-50 ball. That was a 50-50 ball. He saw it. Receiver saw it. He stayed calm, composed, played the ball in the air, and broke up what, could have been a touchdown. Right? So that's big credit to Isaac Porter on playing that 50-50 ball because those are some of the hardest situations to be in.
And really easy, too, Deshaun, to take a PI in that situation as well because that ball hung up a little bit and the receiver was trying to come back through it. So it's 2nd down and 10 for Team West. Aboud. Another check down to Clark. Clark picks his way through. Matthew Clark to the end zone. Can he get in? He is pushed out of bounds just short at the 1.5-yard line. Matthew Clark, who had 24 carries a year ago, has a catch out of the backfield and nearly a touchdown for Team West.
Yeah, and that was a simple screen pass out the backfield, right? Simple screen pass. You let the defense get to the quarterback, draw in that defense, let the running back leak out, and you're able to pick up some yards. Of course, he picked up more. Offensive line did an amazing job. Cody Blackshaw off the edge had the block, which almost led to the touchdown. What more do you want out of a screen pass, right? So drawn up very, very perfectly, and Matthew Clark did the most he could with the blocks he had and almost got in, moved the ball.
You mentioned Blackshaw, another local product from Kitchener, Laurier Golden Hawk, a tremendous season as the center for that big Golden Hawk offensive line. 2nd team All-Canadian. As Team West will talk it over here.
And they got Nick Domovsky in that quarterback. So they've taken out Tristan Aboud. Nick Domovsky, the Windsor quarterback, is in now running that offense. And Domovsky, he's had he's coming off a pretty good season with the Lancers. They started a little bit slow, and I think he really found himself this year. I think one of the big things for Windsor over the last number of years has been their offense. They've had stellar defenses, bring in some American players, and seeing all these players get drafted into CFL last number of years, Windsor's become kind of like a CFL powerhouse in terms of, producing professional talent. And I think for a lot of fans, and experts, the one thing that's kind of prevented them from winning a Yates Cup is putting together a solid, fluent offense. And I think Nick Domovsky's really been that piece at quarterback that they've been looking for a long time. They've had great running backs, three-headed monsters in the backfield. They've had great receivers, but they've always been looking for someone at that QB position to kind of just really manage that offense. And I think Nick Domovsky's been that guy for them.
Domovsky is in the backfield. It's a direct snap, and McCray is into the end zone. Marshall McCray, we saw it 10 times in the OUA season, and he gets the first major of the East-West Bowl in 2026.
Marshall McCray, I think he did at Guelph all season, right? Coming in at the goal line and when he's in at quarterback on the goal line, he becomes one of the most dangerous players in the game because you don't know if he's going to go up the middle for a sneak. You don't know if he's going to bounce out and try to hurdle someone. And now he's doing that here at East-West. Even though he's played receiver this entire week, coming in at QB, putting some points on the board. Marshall McCray, you know what you're going to get.
The extra point from St. Mary's is Adam Johnson, who was 30 for 30 on points after this year for the Huskies. Still knocking through, and it's 9-0 Team West.
So now, Adam, what I'm looking at is how does the East respond? We've only seen one drive, resulting in a 3-and-out. Elijah Barnes had one completion. They haven't really gotten anything going today. Time of possession has really been on the West for the majority of this first quarter so far. So I'm looking to see how does the East respond. Can Elijah Barnes find a groove? Can they get their running back, Dembele Bertet from Montreal, involved in the game? Jackson Stebbing, Cedric Smith at receiver. Can they get involved on offense? Really want to see how the East responds on this next drive.
Something to watch here to see if he gets the ball. Chandler Zink-Marier is back as one of the two returners for Team East. Just an incredible year, 144.1 all-purpose yards a game for him. He averaged 28 yards per kick return. He's the SMU Male Athlete of the Year. He's also on the sprint team at St. Mary's. He and Jonathan Martel Joseph from Sherbrooke are back for the kick. It is going to be Zinc Marie deep in the end zone. He'll just take the knee with the wind at the back of Team West. They've benefited a couple of times here from the win. That'll be an extra single for them.
You talk about Chandler Zinc Marie. Guess what his 40-yard dash time was this week? Can you guess?
You
can't. Don't look at your sheets. Don't look at your sheets. Don't look at your sheets.
I will say this: he was the fastest recorded 40-yard time.
He was.
Memory serves, and well under 4.6. I'm gonna guess.
Yeah.
4.52.
Oh, you were close. 4.57.
4.57.
So you're close, but like in 40-yard dash time, you're far.
I'm too far. Yes. He also won the silver medal at the AUS Track Championships in the 60-meter. Flag on the play there before the snap. It's procedure against Team East. It's right here on my sheet, Deshaun. 4.57. I should have remembered that.
But I told you don't cheat. So
I didn't cheat.
You didn't cheat. You played
Man
fair.
of my word.
You played honest. So I'm gonna give you credit for that. And can you guess who the second fastest 40-yard dash time was?
Oh no, I have that somewhere too. But there's 107 players here and 3 more after injury replacements. So it can't. Off the top of my head, I'm not gonna be able to posit a guess, Deshaun.
It was Ryan Hughes.
That's right.
Ryan Hughes. And I think we kind of already saw it.
And I will cheat on that one. Ryan Hughes had the second fastest time. So it's 1st and 15 for Team East. Handoff is to Martel Joseph. Martel Joseph is gaining about 10 yards on that 1st and 15. He had a great season. He had 526 yards on 78 carries. He had a 186-yard game, too, against McGill back in September 27th.
Yeah, Martel Joseph, he's a downhill back. He's a really downhill back. He's low to the ground, lowers his shoulder, hard to tackle. He always gets past the first line, and he's a second, third contact guy. He's hard to take down.
Quick pass to the far sidelines, complete. The East's first down. Leveled on that far side is Denaden Lee Daniel out of Toronto. A young up-and-coming receiver for that Varsity Blues program. He'll get lots more touches, you would have to figure, this year.
And the tackle on the sideline made by Max Polishuk, the DB from Regina. Great defense this past season. #1 defense in the Canada West. Almost won the Hardy Cup. But listen, those DBs from Regina, Brandon Wong on the field as well at the half, they're hard-hitting.
Under duress is Barnes. He's got to flip his hips, and he's got a completion. Oriola Poirier from the Concordia Stingers got himself open, and a great play by Barnes to elude the pressure coming.
Yeah, Barnes made a great play, rolled out, saved some time, created some more time, and was able to complete the pass. But Reese Cack off the edge, number 46 for Saskatchewan, he really came in and brought some pressure. And really and truly, he's a disruptive defensive end, man. Coming in at 6'2", around 275, really fast, really explosive, really aggressive, and going up against a really, really tough offensive lineman there off the edge. So look out for him all day.
This time Barnes has more time. He rolls to his strong side, way downfield, just out of the reach of Cedric Smith of the Queen's Gales.
And there you're able to see the arm that Elijah Barnes has that I think so many people have talked so highly about. A flick of the wrist, and he's able to make it fly, and he finds Cedric Smith.
Into the wind, too,
Into the
Deshaun.
wind, yeah, into the wind, and finds Cedric Smith on that corner, but he overthrew it a little bit, right? And so for Elijah Barnes, it's kind of putting a little bit less sauce on that and kind of finding that right pocket to put it in for his receivers. But his arm strength has been something that's been highly touted in the time that he's been in the OUA.
So it's 2nd down and 10 for the East. Barnes. Cat comes on the pressure again, but Barnes gets it away, and it is caught once again. Denaden Lee Daniel from the University of Toronto. Oh, my mistake. No, that's Peyton Flesh. St. FX X-Man who climbed the ladder for that.
And so the West defense, these DBs, they're playing off. They're given space. They're playing a little bit of zone. And so essentially, when you're a quarterback, it's all about finding the holes in the zone, right? And I think Elijah Barnes does a great job of that. If your offensive line is giving you time to go through your reads, eventually you'll find the holes in the zone. And if you can fit it in that pocket, you're good to go. And that's exactly what Elijah Barnes did over the middle just now.
Team East on the move now. Into the wind. Barnes. Barnes is going to go to the end zone. Poirier is there, but again, just a little too far. A really strong throw again by big number 8 from Carleton. On his weak side, the lefty had to turn and fire. He still got that ball way downfield.
And so on the last play, remember I mentioned that zone? Well, these DBs, they said, no, we're going to play press. We're going to play man. We're going to take away some of that space. And Brandon Wong was all over Lee Daniel on that corner, and there was really no open receiver on that play. Elijah Barnes had a look, but it wasn't the best look. And so you don't really get anything. 2nd and 10.
2nd and 10 as we tick towards the end of quarter number 1. The pass is nearly caught, but it's broken up. Intended for Jackson Stebbings from Laurier, but swatted away
by Brandon Wong.
Brandon
Wong, Regina DB, right? Brandon Wong, hard-hitting DB. He's played a little bit of the Sam linebacker spot, a little bit of field half. He floats around. He's hard-hitting, and right there he was able to make a big hit and force that ball out of Jackson Stebbings' hands to really break up the pass and force his field goal unit onto the field.
So Forteza on to try to give the East their first points. Into the wind, bobbled snap. Jackson Stebbings has to throw it away. Under duress, it's incomplete. So the snap a little low.
Yep.
And the East doesn't get a chance to get some points on the board.
Yep. And I know we saw some trick plays on, on the west side, on the east side earlier in the game, or on the west offense earlier in the game. But yes, to clarify, that was not a trick play. That was a botched snap. And, Jackson Stebbings tried to see what he could do and see if he could, pull off something. He's not a quarterback, he's a receiver. I know he's played with Taylor Algersma, and I know he's, I know he's been around some good quarterbacks in his heyday, Callum Wither, all that. But no, botched snap leads to no points on the board, and now the West is back on, and we have Nick Domofsky back in at quarterback.
After a couple of series with Abood, a few snaps for Domofsky. He will take over here. Hand off. Right away and swarmed and taken down. Parkinson from Mount Allison in the back.
Ooh.
Loss of a yard there.
What a hit, and it looks like DeAndre McKenzie met him right at the line, swallowed him up, and really took him down. No yardage there. That was a heavyweight collision. We could hear it up here. You heard that, right?
Absolutely.
I heard
Through
that.
the headphones. DeAndre McKenzie had a good season with the Ravens, had a big field goal block in the Panda game this year. 2nd down. Oh, and the ball hits Daniel Kabongo right in the face mask as Domofsky delivered it. And Kabongo, the first team Canada West's all-star kick returner, would call that reception in, so it's 2-0 for the West.
Kabongo, listen, he's an electric player. I was looking up to see where the sun was because I was worried the sun was in his eyes, but no, listen, it just bounced off his face mask, and the ball had some airtime there. He's lucky he didn't get picked off because there was some airtime there, and it could have landed in a linebacker's hands, but no, just a incomplete pass.
Here's what I'm looking forward to. A punt with the wind at his back from Big Matthew Driver.
Beautiful.
Who hammers it inside the 20. Zinkmarier makes a move. We talked about how dangerous he is in the return game, and Chandler Zinkmarier with a huge punt into a non-factor as Team East is all the way back out towards midfield.
And that's what 4.57 speed will get you. Zinkmarier is able to field that punt, find some holes, and come up with a really, really great return to give his offense good field position at around the 50-yard line to start this drive. And they're going to need it.
The punt from Driver, a big one. Driver with the same wind at his back when the Queens Gales visited the Warriors here last year on September 20th, hit an 84-yarder at one point that got over the head of the returners and just rolled as this pass is complete to Robin Julio from the Ottawa GGs, who has a first down from Elijah Barnes. That's a connection you wouldn't expect to see, Raven to a GG.
I was just about to say that. It's a little awkward seeing a Ravens QB pass to a GG receiver, but hey, I guess they got some some good chemistry there. Might not be the best chemistry, might not be always healthy chemistry, but they got some good chemistry.
Hey, we saw some chemistry in the Highway 7 rivalry earlier today already on Team West. That's something actually that the folks from At the 55 podcast talked about in their preview show too, the connection between Ryan Hughes and Tristan Aboud on the West. Barnes, meanwhile, rolls, has a man downfield, it's caught! Jackson Stebbings of the Laurier Golden Hawks, and the East is down inside the 10.
Jackson Stebbings made up for his botched field goal on that last drive. Elijah Barnes did his read to the weak side. They ran a Houston option, which is a hook go option, and the DBs were playing off. So Elijah Barnes rolled out to the field side and told Jackson Stebbings to run a corner fade towards the end zone, launch that ball with his arm, and was able to get it into his receiver's hands for the huge gain.
Elijah Barnes throwing the ball with his feet not set has been outstanding so far early on in this one. Handoff here is to Kamara, and another Raven to GG play there as the Ottawa GG's back. Suleiman Kamara is just short of the goal line. And that will end the first quarter. So they're going to say the ball was spotted before the time expired.
And yeah, you're inside the 10. Hand it off to your running back. Get a couple yards. See what he can do on first down, after a big play especially.
Second down and goal from the 1 yard line, the last play of the first quarter. Kamara to the end zone, and he's in. Suleiman Kamara punches it in. And Deshaun, for as much as you and I talked about how the defensive lines and the defenses have a bit of an advantage in these all-star games with a short week of preparation, the offenses coming out firing here in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, the offenses have been all Canadian. They've been all Canadian to start this game, and I think you've seen it on both teams. You've seen the big plays on both teams. You've seen two Laurier receivers have big plays down the sidelines in Stebbings and Hughes. Wonder what they're going to be talking about when they're finished this game. And then you've seen touchdowns on the board. So I think both teams off to a healthy start.
Teza's extra point is up and good. He was perfect in the regular season, 25 for 25. He's perfect here, and that will bring an end to quarter number one. After 15 minutes, the West leads the East 10-7. We'll be back with the second quarter right after this.
As an elite hockey player, I've seen concussions change lives. That's why I co-founded Waterloo Startup Headfirst. Our saliva test gives fast, objective results from anywhere.
When the world feels off course, Waterloo is on it. We step up to the challenge and take the lead. We add AI to the operating room to detect cancer in seconds. We invent a test that catches concussions faster, and we design AI that supports us rather than steers us. Whether it's today's challenges or tomorrow's, Waterloo is on it. Hey, change makers, change it up. Turn ideas into action, passion into purpose, and questions into real solutions. Because whatever path you choose, here you'll make an impact and get ready to change the world. Make your change. Discover your story at Waterloo.
Welcome back to the U Sports East-West Bowl 2026 edition. Deshaun Stevens, Adam McGuire with you here at Warrior Field as we will kick off the second quarter after the East got on the board with a major. Suleiman Kamara from a yard out. And now a big, huge kick. You talked about the big leg of Philippe Ortiza. Pounded that one with the wind at his back through the end zone for a single for Team East.
One thing I want to highlight, Adam, when it comes to Laurier, because we spoke about Laurier a little bit, I think there's been a lot of questions about the Laurier Golden Hawks, this past offseason. Of course, Michael Fultz left Laurier and went to Western to become the new head coach with Greg Marshall retiring. And, of course, Callum Wither transferred to Division I. But I think we're seeing the next generation of the Laurier offense here today on Warrior Field, right? You've seen Ryan Hughes. I think we all know about Ryan Hughes. Ryan Hughes had an amazing season, and he is definitely next up in line to be the #1 receiver at that program. But seeing Jackson Stebbings as well today, and some of the stuff that he's done, and seeing how he's been able to just, I think, reroute himself after making a big mistake on that field goal and then making a big play down the sideline to put them in touchdown position. We're getting a good look at Laurier's offense today. And you know, for a lot of people that might be questioning where this program will be this upcoming season, they're in great hands. They still have a lot of talented players, and they're still going to be in the mix in the OUA for sure.
They will be hard to keep off of scoreboards regardless. As in for the quarterback position, it's Demovsky once again on first down. Handoff was to Shamar Parkinson, and Parkinson gains about 5 on first down. Mount Allison Mountie had 221 yards on 44 carries a year ago.
Really excited to get a look at Etienne Deleuze, the linebacker from Laval today, in there at the Sam position. I'm really excited to get a look at him. Had a great season at Laval, one of the best linebackers in the country. Want to see him get kind of mixed up in the game.
Tested off the charts, too, this week. As bouncing and ahead of the marker for a first down, once again, Parkinson. Great job from Shamar Parkinson to keep the legs going.
And who made the tackle on that play? First contact, Etienne Deleuze from Laval, the linebacker. Right there, super, extremely disruptive. Loves to stop the run, can drop back and defend the pass, can really do it all.
23 bench reps, that was third most this week. Ran the 7th fastest 40 at 4.77, had the 9th highest vertical. All kinds of measurables off the charts for him as on first down, the completion is to Daniel Hector from Windsor, a little Lancer-to-Lancer action. And it's good for about 5 or 6 on first down.
And talk about Etienne Deleuze. Again, he came off the edge right there on the linebacker blitz, applied a lot of pressure to Vic Demovsky. Of course, the offensive line tried to, protect Demovsky as much as they can, but he had to get the ball out over the middle. Simple check down, get the ball out of your hands, don't take the sack, and try your best to move the chains. Right now they're on second down, so they're 4 yards away from trying to get that first.
Demovsky with Shamar Parkinson on his right hip. Demovsky to throw, second and short. Comes to this wide side. He's got a completion to Cairo Berry, the York Lion receiver, has a first down.
Let's talk a little bit about the York Lions. Interesting team.
Interesting team.
Yep, rebuild over the last 2 years. Under Dexter Janke's done an amazing job of really being able to bring in quality players to that program from the CJFL and transfers from out west. And listen, the last 2 seasons, they found themselves 1 game short of making the playoffs. This is a team that's really turned it around, and Cairo Berry is going to be at the center of that offense this year with a lot of receivers graduating.
Coach Janke is here coaching the running backs for Team East as this pass is tipped and almost picked off. Big Dominique Walker, the Warrior, almost came down with that. All 6-7 of them from that defensive tackle.
6'7". All 6'7".
I've been informed, Deshaun, by my children that 6'7" is dead now. It's over.
Oh, let's say he's 6'7". That's it. It's just his height.
13 and 10-year-olds are on the vanguard, so I'll trust them. Swing pass out of the backfield to Parkinson, and Parkinson puts his head down but is blown up. Justin Belanger, the linebacker from Carlton, laid a licking on him.
Simple screen pass. You want to draw in the defense. You want to bring in the pressure, suck in the pressure to relieve the backfield and relieve the second level of defense. Give it out to Parkinson. He's able to, pick up some yards, ultimately not gain the first down. But he's taken some heavy licks today. That's like his 3rd heavy lick, and we're only in the first half. So that East defense is really applying some pressure on this offense.
So 3rd down and 5, on to punt. Matthew Driver from Queens into the wind this time. Left footer gets it away, but it hangs up. Bounces back.
He picks it up.
Scoops up, and a modest return there.
You know how I know we're at the East-West Bowl? Because on that punt return, there was no yards call. Everybody gave a 5-yard halo.
Perfect
halo. 5-yard halo. You know in a typical regular season game there's going to be at least 1 no yards call. But at the East-West Bowl, nobody wants to make a mistake. Everyone's disciplined. Some of the best players in the country. No yards, not a single no yards call. Clean return. Love to see it.
Clean return, but the punt did get held up by the wind, so Team East back on the field and a new quarterback. Here he is. Trey Ryder from the Alberta Golden Bears. Undersized. He's only played 3 games in his career, but was outstanding this year when called upon. In fact, he led Alberta to their only win, 20 for 27 passing, with 281 yards and 2 touchdowns against UBC back on September 26th. Who was the comp to Ryder that you were speaking to Coach Jamie Cook about before this game?
Let's say it after. Let's say it after.
Handoff is to Dembele Barté from Montreal. He bounces for about a yard.
Yeah, solid handoff by Doug Flutie. I mean, Trey Ryder. To Dembele Barté. Yeah, the comp is Doug Flutie. But yeah, Dembele Barté, listen, 6'2", around 215-pound running back from Montreal. And he played a key part in their Vanier Cup run this year. He was injured for the majority of the season, had a torn meniscus, was able to make it back for the playoffs, and he really just added a different layer to that talented offense led by Pepe Gonzalez, and were able to ultimately win a national championship.
Hunt is away, another big one with the wind. Evan Martin from Windsor can't track it down, and it's another single off the foot of Forteza from Laval. He was the first team RSEQ All-Star punter, and we've seen it twice now, once on the kickoff and that one on the punt.
Yeah, Forteza, again, big leg. The only thing that I think could be a knock on him is the 57% field goal percentage that he had last season. That's the only knock that you might see on him. But if he's able to get that up, especially in a draft where we just saw 3 kickers get picked up, right? He could be a pick in a 2027 CFL draft if he's able to get that percentage up next season, especially in the big games such as Montreal against McGill and games like that. But the size is there, the athleticism is there. He could be a guy that makes tackle on special teams.
Yep.
Used to be a linebacker. I think there's something there with him.
Absolutely. Just 12 for 21 though on field goal attempts, as you said, as Barnes checks it down to Clark, and Clark makes 2 moves. And Matthew Clark, who was injured in week 2 against Manitoba for the Calgary Dinos, makes a couple of moves. Let's check it out here.
Option and moving those chains a little bit, trying to get that first down. Tristan Aboud being very responsible with the ball in his hands. That's what you want to see from your third-year quarterback entering his draft year.
2nd down and 4 for Team West. And the pass from Aboud, is it caught? It is indeed. Didn't tell if it was off the turf or not, and we've got an injured member of Team East. As the training staff tends to the injured Team East player, we're going to step away. We'll be back in a moment.
As an elite hockey player, I've seen concussions change lives. That's why I co-founded Waterloo Startup Headfirst. Our saliva test gives fast, objective results from anywhere.
When the world feels off course, Waterloo is on it. We step up to the challenge and take the lead. We add AI to the operating room to detect cancer in seconds. We invent a test that catches concussions faster. And we design AI that supports us rather than steers us. Whether it's today's challenges or tomorrow's, Waterloo is on it. Hey, change makers, change it up. Turn ideas into action. Passion into purpose. and questions into real solutions. Because whatever path you choose, here, you'll make an impact and get ready to change the world. Make your change. Discover your story at Waterloo.
Early mornings, late nights, every rep, every sacrifice leading to this. Fueled by BioSteel, the best get the chance to make their mark. One weekend, one shot at glory.
Back at the 2026 East-West Bowl, the injured Team East defender was Ndeke Garant Dumambila from Laval. So hopefully he'll be all right. He was helped off the field. Meanwhile, it was a connection from Griffin to Griffin to set up this first down. Aboud found Marshall McCray on that reception. As you pointed out, Deshaun, as
there it is.
This pass is, again, Griffin to Griffin. It's Aboud to McCray once more. And maybe Mark Surya and the Guelph Griffins coaching staff are getting some ideas about how to deploy these two.
Yeah, and the East is playing zone right now. They're playing zone right now, and again, when you're playing zone and you're a quarterback, you want to look for the holes. You want to look for the holes in the secondary and find your receiver at the right time. Marshall McCray did a great job running a drag across the field, getting behind Nelson Kamani, the DB from Montreal, and of course finding open grass, and Tristan Aboud did his job and found him for the first down.
First down on the 41-yard line for Team West. Aboud. Pressure comes. Aboud got away from it. Now he'll try. And to the sideline, Ryan Hughes couldn't tiptoe just enough. Aboud was under duress there.
What I'm looking at right now is I'm looking at Marshall McCray, number 15, at receiver, and he's being covered by a Vanier Cup winning defensive back. He's being covered by one of the best defensive backs in the country. And I think for him, this is a great learning opportunity, right? I think the big thing for him this week is seeing how he can develop as a receiver. There's no place you want to learn how to play a position better than at East-West, because you're around some of the best receivers in the country, best coaches in the country, and you're going up against some of the best competition in the country. So this is great for his development as an athlete.
Second down and 10, Aboud. Completed again to McCray. McCray makes one man miss, now another Marshall McCray. There goes Marshall McCray to the end zone, touchdown. 10 rushing touchdowns a year ago, 1 rushing already today, and now a receiving touchdown from Marshall McCray. He dove for that pylon and got in.
And while we talk about development, while Marshall McCray is being intended to, again, his development this week as a receiver, as you could see, wow.
Yeah, he's up and he's jogging back to the sideline. Yeah,
he's good. We're good. But show goes on. But again, his development this week has been amazing. Is able to catch a simple hook over the middle of the field, make a defender miss, and find the end zone. Again, Marshall McCray is one of the best athletes on the field. And what he's proving is no matter where you put him, whether it's quarterback, receiver, or maybe running back, he can make it happen with the ball in his hands. That's the true definition of a Swiss Army knife, and so it's just great to, again, see how far he's come this week as a receiver. I spoke to him on Monday when he first arrived, and I said, have you ever played receiver before? And he said, no, I have never played receiver before. But you know what he said? He said, we'll see how it goes, and we'll make it happen. And he had the right attitude and approach to this weekend, and that's the payoff right there. The payoff is a touchdown in the East-West Bowl against some of the best defenders in the country, proving that you might have what it takes to be one of the best receivers in the country. So Marshall McCray, he's handled this week like a consummate professional, and it's great to just see him embrace the new roles that he's been given and do it with a smile on his face and with the same work ethic.
This game's not even 25 minutes old, And Marshall McRae already has a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown. I'll just leave it at that, Deshaun. And I know that they have packages for him where he can throw the ball. So 17-8 the score. Ball takes a bounce. Past Nate Dankers, and he can't get out of the end zone. So attack another single on for Team West.
Yeah, when that ball bounces in the end zone, you got to bring it out. For those wondering why they didn't just take a knee, when that ball bounces in the end zone, you want to try to get it out, and you want to try to get some good field positioning. And of course, weren't able to get it out. But yeah, let's try to see what the East can do on this. They've had one good drive so far. Finding his footing as well. Dembele Bertet at running back has not really gotten a lot of touches. Cedric Smith has caught in one reception. Let's see if they can find a groove.
Ryder back in at quarterback. Will roll and has a completion on the far sideline. That is caught by Simon LaRose from the Montreal Carabin, the reigning Vanier Cup champs.
Simon LaRose had a great season with Montreal. Of course, it was a great season. They won a national championship, but he played a pivotal part in really helping Pepe Gonzalez find his groove. Pepe Gonzalez, rookie quarterback. We'll see him here in a couple years. Had probably one of the greatest rookie seasons of all time as a quarterback, and it's because of Simon LaRose and that offense being able to bring a veteran presence, calm him down, and make his life easier running great routes and blocking.
Ryder to roll. Now he'll flip his hips and fire. It's once again complete to LaRose, but just back to the original line of scrimmage, maybe a gain of a half yard.
And there you see the veteran presence of Simon LaRose. But again, a veteran receiver helping out a quarterback that's kind of, in a lot of ways, a rookie, right? Of course, he's at the East-West Bowl, but again, he's only played 3 games in his career, and so this is a learning experience for him as well, and having some veteran receivers always helps in the process.
Dembele Bertet in the backfield behind him. Ryder, middle of the field, and it was just through the hands of Denaden Lee Daniel from the University of Toronto. And pushing and shoving. Lauren Swiston Burns of the Regina Rams drove his man into the turf, and some temperatures rise a little bit here.
Which is understandable. It's understandable. These are some of the best players in the country, right? Tensions will be high, right? You want to prove that you are better than the man in front of you. You want to ultimately prove that you belong, right? And so it's understandable tensions can be high. This is always an intense game after an intense week of practice, might I add, where they've been competing all week in front of scouts. So I'm not surprised to see that. Tough love. What a kick.
A huge punt. Again into the corner. It'll go out of bounds. Where are they going to mark it? At the... Still walking. At the 23-yard line, maybe the 24. So a huge kick and a good angle, but just a little too much. And cut off on the corner there from Forteza.
And again, you talk about Forteza. As you watch the game at home, you see why there could be pro potential there. It's really just that field goal percentage. You got to get the field goal percentage up. You got to prove you can hit your kicks when they matter the most, and prove that you're an efficient kicker, right? But I think everything we've seen today screams pro.
Demoski back in at quarterback. The handoff to Riley Michaud from the UBC Thunderbirds. And gains about 5 on first down.
I want to see what this second unit can do for Team West. I think the first unit's had quite a bit of success today, and they put Marshall McRae into the first unit. Of course, Tristan DeBoo's been moving the ball. Ryan Hughes has been doing his thing. But this second unit is extremely talented. A lot of speedy receivers, a lot of size as well out the backfield. I want to see if they can get into a groove. Can Nick Demovsky kind of find his guys across the field, find those holes in the zone, and move that ball?
Domofsky is out. He connects. It is caught by Daniel Hector. And Hector bounces off the first tackle and has enough for a first down, the Lancer-to-Lancer combo. Daniel Hector down, though, after that tackle. So Hector will be tended to.
Yeah, he ran a simple out route, and Domofsky found him, and he took a first point of contact, broke a tackle, bounced upfield, and got tackled, and that was it. Good to see him walk it off, right? That's what you want to see.
Back up on his feet.
You want to see him walk it off.
That's right, Deshaun.
Right. But I'll say this. Listen, he was being covered by number 0, Devin Crenshaw, the DB, the corner from Toronto, and that first hit that Crenshaw gave him, you got to hit harder than that. You got to hit harder than that if you're a DB in coverage and you have an open hit on a receiver trying to catch a ball. He had a great opportunity there to maybe break up that pass and prevent a first down, and I think the hit just didn't really connect. I would love to see him wrap up, try to get his hands in there, break up the pass.
So first down for the West, and the handoff is to Michaud. And Riley Michaud is out to the 53-yard line. West has something going here, up 10.
Yeah, and Riley Michaud, he was the running back that kind of came after Isaiah Knight. Isaiah Knight, former running back at UBC, all 6'3", 30 pounds of him got drafted last year, and he stuck around in the CFL, and Riley Michaud's kind of been that next man up, and he's been stable for UBC. They had a little bit of a retool year, but just going to show that they still have a lot of power coming out the backfield.
Isaiah Knight was here in the first iteration of this East-West game that was played at Waterloo. This is the third year in a row it's been hosted by the Warriors, as that handoff goes for about 8 yards on first down.
And I talked about seeing if they could find a groove right on that second unit, and they're kind of finding that groove now with Michaud in that backfield, and they're kind of really establishing the run, setting up the run. Hopefully down the line, maybe Domofsky's going to utilize the run, set up the play action, and start to air it out a little bit, but I can anticipate that's what they're doing. Set up the run, establish the run to set up the pass down the line.
Second down and 3. Handoff again to Michaud. He's running behind some of the biggest and strongest offensive linemen in the country, which I guess for him, not really that much out of the ordinary in the factory that UBC has been for producing offensive linemen.
He's used to it. He's used to it. He's used to it.
Came up just a yard short, though, so it's 3rd and short, and the offense for Team West staying on the field again, and it's McCray.
Yep.
Who looks like he might be under center with Domofsky. So McCray's going to come out to the slot now.
And remember, last time McCray and Domofsky were on the field, it was an end-around pass.
That's right. Now McCray's going to come up under center. McCray, can he get there? The first push maybe stopped. The second one, he might have even stopped both times. It looks like Mark Short.
It doesn't look like he got it.
It's a turnover on downs. What a play by Team East up front to keep the dangerous Marshall McCray from getting the yard they needed.
Yeah, I think with Marshall McCray on that one, I feel like they kind of knew what was coming. They knew the QB sneak was coming. They saw it before on the goal line in the second quarter or in the first quarter, and they kind of knew. And so they were like, let's just clog up the middle. And listen, if he's going to beat us on the end around, let him beat us on the end around. But if he's going to go up the middle, he will not get this first down today. And they were able to prevent him from moving the chains.
Elijah Barnes is back in for Team East. Little fake and a quick pitch. Some confusion on the far side as Cedric Smith broke to the ball, but it was intended for, I think it's Lee Daniel on that far side. And it was caught, but only back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it looked like there was some miscommunication there. For a second, I thought Lee Daniel was the defender coming to pick it off for a second, right? So, but I see they're trying to get Lee Daniel involved in the game. I've heard a lot of great things about him. He's been injured for a couple years. They're trying to get the ball in his hands. There's a lot of unlocked potential there. They're trying to get unlocked.
Barnes, middle of the field, and it's caught. Over across the 40. It's the speedster, Chandler Zink-Marie. In addition to all the return danger that he posed to other teams. Had 23 catches for 335 yards and 3 touchdowns as a receiver.
Here we go, no huddle. Check Cedric Smith at the bottom of your screen in the slot.
First down, Barnes is going to look that way right away, and it is to Smith. Cedric Smith can spin, and we'll get about 8 on first down.
There you go. You have that Houston option, right? It's a comeback or a go. If the DB is playing close, you run a go. If the DB is giving you space, you run a hook, and you run a comeback. And the DB was given space, you run a comeback, you run a hook, move the chains, or not move the chains, almost move the chains. Second down, clock rolling, getting close to that red zone.
Under 2 minutes to play in the half. Barnes has Smith again on the cross. Cedric Smith is hit hard, but he has enough for the first down. Ethan Lang, the DB from Saskatchewan, laid a lick on Cedric Smith, but not until Smith got the line to gain.
Yeah, and Cedric Smith ran a drag across the field. Elijah Barnes stayed in the pocket. He stayed patient. He waited for him to clear the last linebacker and get into open space, and gave it right to Cedric Smith to give him some open field and eventually get that first down and move those chains.
After that first down, there's 97 seconds left in what's been a real exciting game so far, Deshaun.
I feel like we've seen it all.
Yeah.
What have we not seen so far?
We have, what should we speak into existence here? We haven't seen a special teams
I was about
block.
to say, yeah. Oh, you saying block. I was going to say return touchdown.
We haven't seen a return touchdown.
So we haven't seen a block. We haven't seen a return touchdown.
You know what we haven't seen, Deshaun? We haven't seen a pick yet.
Oh, we haven't seen a pick yet.
There are too many
right.
good DBs on this field for me to believe we'll go this entire 60 minutes, but quarterbacks have made the right decisions on both sides thus far. Barnes will step up in the pocket with pressure. Elijah Barnes. He gets the first down, maybe more, to the end zone. Touchdown. The Raven takes flight. Elijah Barnes flushed out, but turns the corner.
Elijah Barnes, one of the most exciting young QBs in the board, much needed with 1 minute and 16 seconds left in the half. Great pocket sense and maturity by Elijah Barnes.
It's to narrow the lead to 3. Extra point is up and good. Orteza knocks it in.
I know Corey Grant, the head coach of the Carleton Ravens, is smiling right now watching his young quarterback play amazing in the East-West Bowl, knowing that he's got a gamer when he's going to come back this August for training camp, and for Carleton it's going to be a big season for them, right? They had an up and down year last year, right? They had a tough start to the season and finished it a little bit strong, dropped a couple games, had a couple close games against Laurier. They won the Panda game, which kind of turned their season around. And this year in a wide open OUA, really and truly, Carleton has a chance to really make some noise. We talked about it earlier. The OUA is, in a lot of ways, wide open this year. You don't know what you're going to be getting, so it's a toss-up. It's a toss-up. And if you're Carleton and you're Elijah Barnes, there's opportunity there to take. Seize the opportunity.
Elijah Barnes, too. You said Carleton has an opportunity to make some noise. Elijah Barnes will have an opportunity to really make a name for himself. He's got to be on any kind of mid to short list of players to watch for possible OUA most valuable player, just based on the tools that he has. We talked about it. He completed 65% of his passes last year. The game against Mac on October 18th, he was unworldly. He was 27 for 36, 467 yards, 5 touchdowns in that Week 9 regular season finale against Mac to try to push Carleton into a spot that they could compete for a playoff position.
Might I add, he wasn't starting every single game.
He did not start every single game.
Yeah. He was splitting reps.
Wind has changed direction a little bit. It's now coming towards your view of the camera a bit. As now back in the end zone, it's Kabongo who runs it out and is buried, but does get it out of the end zone. What a hit and tackle that was from big Gavin Perkins from Manitoba. I believe was on that tackle.
So here we go. It's a 3-point game, 1 minute, 8 seconds left. There's an opportunity to potentially put some points on the board if you handle this situation correctly. The West has Tristan Aboud back in at Q. They have Ryan Hughes back in at receiver. They have their starting unit back in, and it looks like they're going to really try to see what they can do in this 1 minute and change and try to see if they can kind of create a little bit more separation as we enter halftime. And if I'm the East, I'm not giving up anything big down the field. I'm taking away all deep options. I'm giving some cushion if I'm the DBs.
And off is to Parkinson. Shamar Parkinson. Really good gain on first down of 9.
And there you go. You see it right there. The DBs giving some cushion, right? Playing zone, sitting back, no man. You don't need to overplay. You don't need to be over physical. You don't want to give up anything over the top. Let them run the ball. Let the clock run out.
And off is again to Parkinson. And he's got enough for a first down just to the marker at the 30-yard line.
All right, so now if you're the West, hold on now. Is it third down? Did we move the chains?
Yeah, then now they go.
There
now
we go, okay,
move.
so good. If it was third down, I would have said you need to keep that ball. You don't want to give up that ball. Fresh set of downs.
Yeah.
You're all right. 45 seconds left.
Oh, the fresh set of downs. What does Tristan Aboud do with it? Lots of time. Middle of the field, and he just threw it behind Cairo Berry from the York Lions. Jake Henderson, the DB from Carleton, on the coverage there.
And that offensive line did an amazing job giving Tristan Aboud time to sit in that pocket and go through his reads, not just once, but twice, right? And you know, giving Tristan Aboud time to just understand who's open, who are some options. Of course, he threw it to Barry, was a little bit behind him, but the offensive line did their job. They gave him an opportunity. That's all you could ask for at the end of the day.
Yeah, especially on this near side. Reed Cloutier from Western. Will Templeton, the first-team All-Canadian guard from Regina. All kinds of time again for Aboud. But from the other side it comes. The ball is out, but it's recovered. On the far side, it was Alias Amelin from Ottawa who had the strip covered by the West. It was Cloutier that fell on the football, but that'll bring up third and very long. And now no choice but for the West to kick it away.
Elias Amelin, again, he's been disruptive all day. And got in there, was able to wrap up Tristan Aboud, get his hand in there, force the fumble. Right, of course it wasn't recovered. But it's essentially a turnover, really and truly. That's what it is, right? You get the ball back.
And with 27 seconds and the wind, albeit swirling at the backs of Team East.
Is this when we get our special teams kick return touchdown? Is this our punt return touchdown right here?
Existence. Let's give it a shot.
We got 4-5-7 back there.
And the ball will go to his side. Will it stay in bounds? St. Marier's got it. Across the field. Penalty flag down. St. Marier. Can he get to the corner? He is pushed out of bounds. It's a flag, though, likely against East. Team East, it's maybe a hold or an illegal block. And with 11 seconds left, you would have to assume that would spell the end of the quarter.
I think that's about it. I feel like that's about it. I feel like let's let these 11 seconds run out. You go into halftime, it's a 3-point game. Both teams are alive and well. Amazing first half of football.
Yeah, it wasn't more than the 2 years ago when we were here that the final score was 16-0.
Don't even remind me of that.
In a game, by the way, that was, from the quarterback position, maybe the most stacked it's ever been.
Yes. You had Taylor Algersma, you had Silas Fannion, you had Jackson Tuchinski, you had Arnaud Desjardins. By the way, that was
Keegan Hall was in that game.
Keegan Hall. That was also Jonathan Senecal's year. He didn't show up. That was Garrett Rooker's year. He didn't show up. I think we were rich on quarterback talent that year.
Elijah Barnes takes the knee. Speaking of rich on quarterback talent, how about that half from Elijah Barnes and Team East? They're within 3 as Tristan Abood and Team West have put up some points. It'll be a good half of football when we come back for the third quarter right after this.
As an elite hockey player, I've seen concussions change lives. That's why I co-founded Waterloo startup Headfirst. Our saliva test gives fast, objective results from anywhere.
When the world feels off course, Waterloo is on it. We step up to the challenge and take the lead. We add AI to the operating room to detect cancer in seconds. We invent a test that catches concussions faster, and we design AI that supports us rather than steers us. Whether it's today's challenges or tomorrow's, Waterloo is on it. Hey, change makers, change it up. Turn ideas into action, passion into purpose, and questions into real solutions. Because whatever path you choose, here you'll make an impact and get ready to change the world. Make your change. Discover your story at Waterloo.
Early mornings, late nights, every rep, every sacrifice leading to this. Fueled by BioSteel, the best get the chance to make their mark. One weekend, one shot at glory.
As an elite hockey player, I've seen concussions change lives. That's why I co-founded Waterloo Startup headfirst. Our saliva test gives fast, objective results from anywhere.
When the world feels off course, Waterloo is on it. We step up to the challenge and take the lead. We add AI to the operating room to detect cancer in seconds. We invent a test that catches concussions faster. And we design AI that supports us rather than steers us. Whether it's today's challenges or tomorrow's, Waterloo is on it. Hey, change makers, change it up. Turn ideas into action, passion into purpose, and questions into real solutions. Because whatever path you choose, here you'll make an impact and get ready to change the world. Make your change. Discover your story at Waterloo.
Early mornings, late nights, every rep, every sacrifice leading to this. Fueled by BioSteel, the best get the chance to make their mark. One weekend, one shot at glory.
As an elite hockey player, I've seen concussions change lives. That's why I co-founded Waterloo Startup headfirst. Our saliva test gives fast, objective results from anywhere.
When the world feels off course, Waterloo is on it. We step up to the challenge and take the lead. We add AI to the operating room to detect cancer in seconds. We invent a test that catches concussions faster. And we design AI that supports us rather than steers us. Whether it's today's challenges or tomorrow's, Waterloo is on it. Hey, change makers, change it up. Turn ideas into action. Passion into purpose. And questions into real solutions. Because whatever path you choose, here, you'll make an impact and get ready to change the world. Make your change. Discover your story at Waterloo.
Early mornings, late nights, every rep, every sacrifice leading to this. Fueled by BioSteel, the best get the chance to make their mark. One weekend, one shot at glory.
As an elite hockey player, I've seen concussions change lives. That's why I co-founded Waterloo startup Headfirst. Our saliva test gives fast, objective results from anywhere.
When the world feels off course, Waterloo is on it. We step up to the challenge and take the lead. We add AI to the operating room to detect cancer in seconds. We invent a test that catches concussions faster. And we design AI that supports us rather than steers us. Whether it's today's challenges or tomorrow's, Waterloo is on it. Hey, changemakers, change it up. Turn ideas into action. Passion into purpose. And questions into real solutions. Because whatever path you choose, here, you'll make an impact and get ready to change the world. Make your change. Discover your story at Waterloo.
Early mornings, late nights, every rep, every sacrifice leading to this. Fueled by BioSteel, the best get the chance to make their mark. One weekend, one shot at glory.
Welcome back to Warrior Field on the North Campus of the University of Waterloo. After the first half of the 2026 U Sports East-West Bowl, Team West leads Team East 18-15. My name's Adam McGuire alongside Deshaun Stevens of Persevere. And Deshaun, we talked about it all from the first half. You know, we came into this thinking it might be a battle of attrition. The skill players are putting on a show here this afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. Adam, we said it before we took the halftime break. What more do you want? Right? Both offense today have absolutely impressed. The quarterback play that we've been seeing from starting QBs, from Tristan Aboud, from Elijah Barnes has been phenomenal. Receivers have been making big plays. Jackson Stebbings and Ryan Hughes. It's Marshall McCray is just playing every position now and making plays at every position, at quarterback, at running back, at receiver. On special teams, Forteza has displayed his leg, has put his leg on full display. Linebackers on both sides have impressed. DBs, Brandon Wong, specifically from Regina on Team West, has impressed. We're seeing a little bit of everything today, but you kind of just alluded to it earlier. That trench play has yet to really step up. We've been seeing some offensive lines like allow some rushes from the ends and some pockets collapsing, and we've been seeing some defensive lines get held up for a long time, right? So we've been yet to see the trenches really make an impact in this game. I think so far it's been a really good kind of balanced aerial assault and a little bit of a chess match in the secondary between the receivers and DBs, and a chess match between the quarterbacks and those middle linebackers. But I'm really looking forward to seeing in this next half of the game if the trenches can make a difference, if those lines can make a difference. But if not, if all stays as is, it'll still be an amazing game.
Yeah, it should be an amazing second half here. Quickly, some of the stats, you talked about it already, Deshaun, but Tristan Aboud leading the way aerially, 217 yards through the air. Of course, the first play of the game, the 80-yard hookup to Ryan Hughes. He's 9 for 13 is Aboud. Nick Demoski's 4 for 5 for 31 yards. On Team East, Elijah Barnes, really, really high completion percentage, 11 for 14 for 136 yards. You mentioned Philip Forteza as well, getting his leg into the ball. Obviously a little bit aided by the wind, but the punting average, 56.5%.
He's got a leg.
On 2 punts, huge leg.
Yeah, he's got a leg. And here, one thing, right? You mentioned the completion to attempts ratio for the quarterbacks. First off, every single quarterback in this game, all 4 quarterbacks have thrown over 75%. They've completed over 75% of their passes, but also 0 interceptions thrown, which is something you alluded to in the first half. Not a single interception thrown so far in this game. So we're essentially turnover-free through one half of play.
Yeah, and obviously, you played the game, Deshaun, at a high level, at this level. For a defense, the traditional kind of knowledge in a game like this is the offensive schemes have to be relatively simple. So there may be some balls up there for D-backs. There's not anything super exotic that they're seeing. So the fact that these quarterbacks have completed at such a high percentage and that none of these D-backs have been able to pick a ball off or really make any sort of impactful plays other than here or there, a tip on a ball once in a while, is really a testament to the way that these offenses are clicking and how well that these receivers are getting space and time.
Yeah, and to be fair to the DBs, we've seen a lot of zone today. And when it comes to zone, when you're a quarterback, you got to really find the holes in the coverage, right? So to be fair, there's been a lot of zone today, not a lot of man, but I'm going to expect to see some man coverage in the second half.
Away we go. Kick will be fielded by Chandler Zink-Marier, the St. Mary's Husky. Out to the 25, pushes ahead to the 28 or 9 yard line.
And it looks like we're going to get Trey Ryder starting the half at quarterback for Team East. The Alberta quarterback has only played 3 games so far in his U Sports career. A huge learning experience for him this weekend. And we're going to see if he can find a groove and get this offense going. He's had a couple of good drives so far. He hasn't put any points on the board, no touchdowns thrown, but also no interceptions thrown. He's taking care of the ball. He's been responsible. He's gone through his reads. Can you just convert now?
1st and 10 for Team East. Handoff is to Dalambe Berthe. And Lucas Dembale Berthe, the Montreal Caravan, back. Has a big gain on 1st down.
And he has a really interesting journey. Get this, born in South Africa, then moved to France, then came to Canada, played Cégep at Thetford Mines, which is one of the toughest, grittiest places to play in the in Quebec. And then, of course, signed with the Montreal Caravan, and right there you're just seeing how explosive he is. Once he passes that first zone, that first line, he's hard to tackle, he's hard to take down. Again, 6'2", 215, 220 pounds. He is a specimen coming out the backfield.
Native of, as you mentioned, Côte d'Ivoire, northwest coast of Africa. Mikel Patin from Bishops, the offensive lineman, a little slow to get up and off after being tangled up on that play. Dembale Berthe, just 1 carry in that first half.
I guess he's already matched his first half production. There you go. You got Jackson Stebbings from Laurier, number 2, lined up in the slot beside LaRose, number 82 from Montreal.
So 1st down and 10 once again. The Ryder took a hit, got the ball up. It is, knocked away. A great play. Onochi Amuda from St. Mary's knocked that ball out.
Yeah, and you know what? Listen, Amuda did a great job. One-on-one coverage, and Max Polishuk got cut up. He got dropped, to be honest with you. He touched the earth on that first move, and Amuda was right there to have his back at half. He kind of dropped back into coverage. He was playing zone. He was playing off. He was able to see the route unfold, come in, break up the pass, and prevent a huge gain. Great job by him on the recovery to help his corner.
Boston that, too. A great job by Ryder just to get the ball out as he was under duress. He stood it there. This time he rolls, and a little bit of a miscommunication with Dembale Berthe, who was out of the backfield, thought he was going to streak up the field. And Dembale Berthe kind of sat in the flat, so that's an incompletion, and it'll be a punt from Team East.
And that's only Ryder's 2nd incompletion of the day, right? We saw his arm on that deep route that got broken up by Amuda. There's some positives there.
Orteza again, spiraling punt, huge kick, fielded at the 5. Logan Haru makes a move. Logan Haru, a really strong punt return from the coffin corner. So got it just before it went out of bounds inside the 5, and he got it all the way out to the 22.
He got a little bit of a louder applause there, and then I remembered, he's a Waterloo guy. He's at home.
Hometown guy, yeah.
He's at home. All right, so in at Q, it looks like we have Nick Domovsky coming in at Q. Tristan Abudu will stay on the bench to start this half, and then we have Ryan Hughes, number 3, will also start at the wideout position as well. See who else I could see in that huddle.
There was a flag on that return.
Pushes them back a little bit.
Yeah, on Team West. Matthew Clark will be, it looks like, the back for Team West.
And we'll have Will Arsenault in there as well, number 12. Marshall McCray will start this half on the bench. He's done a lot today, to be fair. So
yeah, how about that half of football from McCray? 3 carries for 4 yards and a touchdown. 3 receptions for 69 yards and a touchdown, including the 41-yarder that he broke for the major. Handoff is to Clark. Clark up to the 10-yard line.
nothing too surprising there. You're starting deep in your own zone. You're backed up in your own end zone. What you want to do is you just want to hand the ball off to your running back and just at least create a bit of space. Give you some space to work with, pick up some easy, quick yards, and create some more cushion for second down. See if you can get off a play and maybe hopefully move those chains.
He ran behind the all-Canadian guard Will Templeton out of Regina.
And you can check Ryan Hughes at the bottom of your screen. He's at the wide out position on the weak side.
2nd down and 8 for the West. Demovsky to throw. Demovsky has a receiver through the middle of the field. Lunging ahead is Torium, and Eric Torium is good for a gain of about 6 or 7 on 2nd down and 8, so now it's 3rd and short.
There you go. Torium runs a drag across the field. He's able to haul in that ball, break one tackle on first contact. Can't get the first down, but hey, they're going to go for it here.
3rd down and 1.
And if they don't get this first down, East is going to be in really good position.
2 turnovers on downs already this afternoon. Hand off to Clark. Oh, breaking through and making this stuff. Unbelievable play.
What a play, and it looks like that was made by Etienne Deleuze, the linebacker from Laval, who has been disruptive all week, all season. Once again, makes a big play, and it didn't even seem like there was a chance there to even complete the handoff. He was there before the ball was even in Clark's hand. What a play. What a play.
Blew that play up from the right side, and it's a turnover on downs. That's a huge play.
And now Trey Rader is going to take over basically in the red zone.
Yeah, the East are in business. Now a stoppage here.
So I will say, on
the
that
West
snap,
had to call a timeout there. There were maybe only 11 players on the field for them.
I will say that got blown dead. But Trey Ryder did look over to Simon LaRose in the slot as his first read. That's what I picked up right there. That was his first read. Simon LaRose in the slot ran a fly down the middle of the field, ran a seam down the middle of the field, and it looked like that would have been his first look on that play. And Simon LaRose was gone. So I want to see if they run that back on this next play.
Those two have hooked up twice already in the first half. Already a bit of a security blanket LaRose has been for Ryder. And as you mentioned, that was a really strong role he played in Montreal for the national champions. A real solid, easy target to find.
And you can check Simon LaRose right there, lined up in the slot right beside Trey Ryder.
Ryder, he's going to look the other way. Out of the backfield, it's another caravan. Dembele Berté into the end zone. Touchdown, and the East has their first lead of the afternoon.
Different Montreal player, same intended result. Dembele Berté runs the out route. He leaks out into the backfield, runs a short out past the offensive line, and Ryder is able to find him and give him some space to make some magic with yards after the catch, and is able to find the end zone for the touchdown.
Extra point is up and good from Le Portesa. And the East has the lead as we go back and forth here in the 2026 East-West Bowl.
Is that the East's first lead of the game?
It is, in fact, the East's first lead of the game. So 2 big plays put the East on top. One, how about this, Deshaun? From a Laval Rouge-Or defender, and then the touchdown from the Montreal Carabin running back.
Yep.
That's what you get in these East-West games. We talked about it in the first half. A Raven to GG handoff, a big defensive play by a Rouge-Or, and a touchdown by a Carabin.
You know what I want to know? I want to know when the Laval linebacker comes back to the sideline, does he get a high five from the Montreal running back?
A respectful nod.
Respectful acknowledgement, just a little nod.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't know about a high five.
I'm sure it's hard for those players on those two teams.
The bad blood is very real.
Contenders, that's
very
right.
much real.
So the West will have another shot here offensively. Another big, long kickoff. Pushes Kabongo way back into the end zone, and he just has to take the knee.
And for those of you watching that are not aware, Montreal and Laval again, probably one of the biggest rivalries in university football in this country, and they've actually met in the conference final in Quebec, the RSCQ final, the Jacques Dussault Cup. I think for the last 15 years, Adam. Imagine that, 15 consecutive
15
years
straight, that's right,
of 2 teams meeting in the conference final. And so that rivalry is as big as it gets in the province of Quebec. Both teams, whenever they meet each other up, no matter where it is, whether it's in Quebec City or in Montreal, the stands are packed, the passionate fans are out, and with all due respect, it's honestly a Division I environment.
There's nothing like it, for sure, when those 2 teams hook up. Demovsky for Team West now. Doesn't like what he sees, so he'll pull and run and slide at the 40-yard line.
Yeah, and the pocket really broke down quick there, and Demovsky didn't really have time to go through his reads. He had torn him over the middle, right? He had an option there. That got blocked off by the linebacker that was in the area. I want to say that was Delel, but I just saw him run off the field. And, of course, what he did was he scrambled, left the pocket, and tried to find the first down. Gain of 5 yards. Not bad for first down.
So it's 2nd down and 5 for Demovsky and Team West. Clark on his left hip. Demovsky to throw again. Middle of the field, it's caught. Daniel Kabongo. First down. He was met there by the Queens linebacker DJ Ryan, but hung onto the ball as Ryan, who is a heavy hitter from Queens, laid the lick on him.
And Elias Amelin, the defensive end from Ottawa, is bringing the pressure. So what they're doing is when he's in the game, they're letting Clark stay back there to help out on the pass protection. They need the extra help. The pocket has been closing all day. And so Clark, who's so talented with the ball in his hands, is now being actually tasked with helping block. And it's on those receivers now to get open and make some magic work.
Demovsky. Pocket collapses again. Walker this time with the pressure. Pass is caught, though, and complete. Eric Torium with his 3rd catch of the afternoon, and he's got just enough, it looks like, for a first down.
And you know what? I think that was a risky move by Demovsky, but it's smart in the sense that he wanted to run, but he had someone on his back hip. He knew he might not be able to chase him down, and Torium's already in first down yardage, first down range. Throws it to Torium and is able to move the chains and keep this offense alive. Good decision by Demovsky.
So it's first down into East territory.
Check Ryan Hughes at the bottom of your screen. Just entered the game, number 3 with the purple pants.
Demovsky looks that way, doesn't like what he sees, so he'll check down to Clark. Clark, one move, but couldn't spin away from the grasp. Gains about 6. It was Matthias Pilon, the linebacker, defensive back, out of McGill, who made the stop there. He only played 3 games this year and was hurt on September 5th against Concordia, but had a 2-interception game against Sherbrooke in week 1.
Secondary doing a great job so far, not allowing any big plays. They're playing zone, no press, giving cushion, nothing over the top. You got some deep threats on the field right now. You don't want to allow anything over the top.
2nd and 4. Demovsky rolls out. Demovsky. And again, it's caught. Eric Torium went down awkwardly, but popped right back up. Big body. Eric Torium has been really strong in the middle of the field.
Yeah, it looks like looks like he's trying to shake off that knee a little bit. But Torium, hey, he's had a good half. That's his third reception of the half. Also, Marshall McCray just checked into the game, number 15, took out Daniel Kabongo. But Torium, again, he's proving to be a reliable option for Domofsky this afternoon.
And he'll likely be a reliable option for quarterback on Team East, Trey Ryder, when they both get back to the University of Alberta. McCray in at quarterback, the keeper. McCray! Oh, he's hit hard. Pilon laid the lick on McCray. McCray is up, but he will go to the sideline. A punishing hit from Matthias Pilon from McGill.
What a hit Marshall McCray just took. Wow. And at the Wildcat, and of course, you know when he's in that quarterback, he's likely going to run with that ball in his hand, and was able to break one tackle, took a huge hit, comes off the field, but is able to move the ball a little bit, 3 yards short of the first down. And, you know, this offense is still in good range, and they have some momentum now. This has been one of their better drives of the afternoon, with Nick Domofsky primarily running this offense.
Good to see McCray back up into the sideline, too. He was down after his touchdown as well. Here's a handoff to Riley Michaud. Riley Michaud to the far side. And he is cut down by Mendel Joseph, a defensive back out of Concordia, one of the most decorated players at this game. He was the defensive player of the year, the stand-up defensive player of the year for the RSEQ.
Goes to show how talented Mendel Joseph is. You know, being right now he's at the safety spot, but he's a ball hawk. He's all over the field, and he's able to not only defend the pass, but as you can see right there, stop the run, be downhill, and take down any running back that tries to enter that territory.
Two-time All-Canadian. As the handoff is to Michaud, but he can't get anywhere. Dominic Limani was in on the tackle, the McMaster Marauder.
Looked like Burfello was also in there. The York linebacker able to get in there first and really kind of get a hold on those legs and cause a trip up. Team East really going for that red zone stand right now. It's about bending, but don't break. But don't break.
It was a loss of 3 on the first down run to the ball on the 19-yard line. Domofsky flushed. He'll roll. Domofsky. Walker chases him. Domofsky to the end zone. Oh, what a catch! Touchdown, Team West. Daniel Kabongo tracked it down in the back of the end zone.
What a right in the breadbasket, able to put 7 on the board and regain the lead in this game. That was probably Nick Domofsky's best throw of the game so far. And again, comes at the right time when you're down and you want to regain that lead. Daniel Kabongo, we know he's athletic. We know he's special. But he was able to finally show it right there on that play. Stay patient, stay with his quarterback, and put 7 on the board.
We just talked about the ball hawk nature of Mendel Joseph. Dropped right over top of the leaping Joseph in the back of the end zone. And Team West takes the lead back. Kabongo only had 9 catches last year, 106 yards, but did most of his damage in the return game. He was the first team All-Canadian returner. He averaged 11.6 yards per punt return.
And you know what? Saskatchewan's going to need him a lot this year. Their number 1 receiver, Daniel Weeb, he graduated, right? He was the program's all-time leading receiver. He graduated, and now it's going to be a new core. It's going to be Liam Peachinen and Dawson Lenny, who's been here this week, and of course, Daniel Kabongo, right? That's going to be your new big 3, coming out the backfield in that receiving corps for Saskatchewan going forward.
Daniel Weeb put on a show when he was here 2 years ago as well.
Oh, he did.
On the return, and a big tackle made by the hometown boy, Elijah Papp, and the Warriors. H-back makes the tackle on the speedster, Chandler Zink-Marie. And good special teams coverage.
And you got to think, for a lot of these guys, special teams means everything. Listen, when you get drafted into the CFL, a lot of the time you're going to get early on, the way you're probably going to get on the field to start your career is going to be special teams. It's going to be punt return. It's going to be kickoff, kick return, punt, all of that. That's what it's going to be. So for a lot of these guys, taking special teams seriously and making those plays, showing these scouts what they can do is going to mean the world, because that's how they're going to start their careers.
Hand off to Suleiman Kamara. Kamara still on his feet, bounces into the middle of the field and gains 5 on first down.
And just noticing, Elijah Barnes, number 8 from Carleton, is back in the game at quarterback for Team East. Again, he had an amazing first half, really aired it out, put up 136 yards on 11 for 14 passing, then of course the rushing touchdown to end the half. So we're going to see what he can do in the second half with his first couple snaps.
Barnes. Second down and 5. The lefty slings it middle of the field.
PI.
And the flags come out. That was an easy one to call. And Lee Daniel had a step to the inside. And I think it was Owen Getz, the Laurier Golden Hawk, that had to get the arm in and turn him around. Because I think, Deshaun, that Lee Daniel was gone through the middle of the field.
Yeah, he had a good step on him. And then he broke towards the middle of the field on the seam, and it looked like he had an option right there, and Goetz got that arm up. And it's funny, right? I think we all know, like, it's pass interference, but in real time, when you're moving, it's the body does something else from what the mind wants to do, right? The mind says, put your arm up. The body puts the arm up. You don't want to do it, but you do it sometimes, and that's how you get caught. But, pass interference on that play, and gives them a fresh set of downs, moves the ball up just a little bit.
Yeah, just a reactionary play. And then sometimes you think maybe I'll just get a slight arm in the space of the receiver and slow him down enough where it's not seen or called. Barnes back to throw. Going deep again. Over the head of the intended receiver, Simon LaRose from Montreal. As Barnes had LaRose, and LaRose had a step, just hung up too far in the wind.
Yeah, and the cornerback, Max Polishuk, number 25 from Regina, he's playing like full out man defense now. No more cushion, no more zone. He is playing man. He did get dropped earlier in the quarter. So I think now they're allowing him to get a little more physical, got a hand on LaRose, was able to kind of jam him a little bit at the line and break up that route a little bit, make him a step slower, but they're letting him get physical now at corner.
Second down and 10 for the East. Barnes, middle of the field, just out of the reach of Cedric Smith. So it's going to be 3rd and 10 in the punting situation for Team East, as they are with the wind here for only another 3 minutes and 7 seconds.
And you got to believe Team West, I'm sorry, but they caught a break on that play. Cedric Smith beat the first line of defense. He basically beat the secondary. He was by himself in daylight, and Elijah Barnes just overthrew the ball, right? So, again, you talk about zone coverage. You talk about finding a hole. They were playing a cover 1 flat, so there was no one there.
Another skying punt. This one fielded by Ryan Hughes, and he was dropped. The hang time aids on the coverage, and a big-time stop. Team East on special teams.
Tackle made by Vincent Delel from Laval.
That was Delel again, who made the big play on 3rd down the last time that the East got on the board.
One thing I will say is hang time matters so much on a punt because it gives your gunners time to go down there and be ready to make a tackle. Hang time is everything when you're a punter. You're aiding your special teams unit in making a tackle. So you're seeing the product of it right now.
Aboud on the play action. Evan Smith, the fullback from Calgary, who was a second-team All-Canadian in that fullback, H-back utility position. He makes the catch. Evan Smith, I know, has turned a lot of heads this week. Yeah, it looks like the way he plays, the way he blocks, and the way that he can affect the game without having to touch the football.
And now we're going to get a look at Ryan Hughes. Just want to check Ryan Hughes. He's in the slot right now. And we have Tristan Aboud back in the game at quarterback.
Handoff is to Shamar Parkinson. Parkinson's going to get to the first down line to gain.
And what I like about Parkinson's game is he does not go down on first contact, right? You look at him, he's low to the ground, right? He's not a downhill back. He's a little bit of a shifty guy, kind of goes east-west a little bit. And again, he's able to break at least 1 to 2 tackles on every single carry. Now, he takes a lot of big hits, right? But again, being able to break 1 to 2 tackles on every single carry and really just kind of keep the ball moving is so important at the running back position. And he's able to do that perfectly.
And off again to Parkinson, a Chateauguay, Quebec native.
And he always falls forward. I think that's so important too. Always falling forward, it gains you an extra yard. It's such an underrated thing, right? You just see the running back fall forward, you don't think it means everything. No. That gets you 1 yard closer to a first down. And I think that's just so amazing about his game. I love that.
Under a minute to play, third quarter. 25-23, the West leads. Second down and a long 5. Tristan Aboud to Kabongo. Kabongo breaks the tackle. Daniel Kabongo still on his feet. And he's finally taken down. A shoestring tackle made. Otherwise, Kabongo was gone.
Yeah, and listen. Their tackle and is able to get to midfield, put his team in good field position. But yeah, when he catches that ball and he has open space, yards after the catch, he becomes a kick returner, and that's where you see why he's so special.
Devin Crenshaw made the tackle there. Otherwise, Kabongo may have been gone for his second major of the half. Here's an injured Team West player on the field. Maybe just a cramp. Looks like it is... I think it's the Warrior Logan Haru. He's back up though.
Like they're going to go strong left.
That's what it sounds like from the coach's box to our right. Last play of quarter number 3. Aboud. Aboud to throw. Middle of the field, Kabongo, and in coverage was Mendel Joseph, and it was too low for Kabongo to rein in. So that'll be the end of the third quarter. Now, just been informed we won't have the 90-second break. We're going to try to roll right into the fourth quarter here to maybe beat some impending weather that's coming in.
I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that.
The broadcast position here at Warrior Field, a little more, let's say, open than some other places. So I think we're fine for sure if we try to cram home the last quarter here. It's been a great football game, though, Deshaun.
Listen, it's a 2-point game. And, I think really and truly what it's going to come down to, and easier said than done, but execution is going to matter so much. I think on both teams in that third quarter, what we saw were flashes of greatness and some mistakes along the way. And I think it's whoever can have the cleaner quarter is going to win this game. It's easier said than done, but remember, these are guys that have been playing together for just less than a week building chemistry. It's not easy. Mistakes are going to be a guarantee, but whoever can have less mistakes will win this game.
Second down and long. Here comes Dominique Walker, but getting it away was Aboud. Only a check down to Shamar Parkinson, though, who gains only 2 yards. That was the Warrior, the big defensive end, Dominique Walker, who blew that play up and forced the quick hookup for only 2 yards from Aboud.
And yeah, simple screen pass. You want to suck in the defense, suck in the pressure, get as much as you can now to leave some open field for your running back to work with. But Etienne Delel, the linebacker from Laval, who we've talked about so much today. I feel like I've been saying his name on repeat all day, was right there to take down Parkinson and prevent that first down.
Here's the trickery. Marshall McCray looks downfield. McCray! Pass was just a little too low. Intended for Ryan Hughes.
Just getting a
On
look at
third down, that was the trick. They wanted to try to convert.
And we've seen it all day. Marshall McCray, as versatile as they come, he has proven his value as a football player today. He's been able to do it all. At the running back position, at the quarterback position, at the receiver position, and now on special teams. Marshall McCray has proven his value today. And I think he's just, again, I think silenced a lot of critics when it comes to just the versatility that he has as a football player.
13:57 and counting left now as Team East takes the ball back. The wind picks up. Sun has peeked behind the clouds. Things cooling down a little bit.
Elijah Barnes in at quarterback.
Barnes to throw. On first down, he's got a man. Oriola Poirier of the Concordia Stingers. First down for Team East as Poirier makes his second catch of the afternoon.
Yeah, simple drag over the middle, is able to find Green. Elijah Barnes sits back, goes through his drop back, finds his read, finds the window, first down. That's what you want if you're Elijah Barnes and if you're this offense. You want to move that ball, and now you're on the other half of the field and you're impeaching on their territory.
And a penalty after the spot of the reception will push the East way down. Poirier had a career-high 87-yard touchdown against Montreal on August 23rd. He ran the fifth fastest 40 here this week at 4.69 seconds, tied for fifth fastest. He has his second catch, and after the penalty, it's first down from the 23. Barnes to the field side. On that far side.
By Peyton Plesh
from St. FX makes the catch.
Yeah, and that's a really far throw all the way across the field. So Elijah Barnes had to roll out. Peyton Plesh ran the 5 to 7 yard comeback and was just waiting for him there. That's a long pass. It's really underrated how long that pass is. That it was only a couple yards of a gain, but that's honestly almost a 15-yard distance pass when it comes to just the width of the field.
Sets up 2nd and 4 for Barnes and the East. Barnes has to roll away from pressure. Barnes, he's going to get the corner. Pushed out of bounds. Ethan Gregorczyk, the 2023 OUA Rookie of the Year. Knocked Barnes out of bounds. The officials will confer, but there's no laundry on the field just yet.
Elijah Barnes having a little bit of a conversation with some of the players on the west sideline. Third down, it looks like they're going to go for it. Elijah Barnes is he coming off? Yep, coming off. It looks like they're going to send on the field goal unit to put 3 on the board and I guess take this lead, take a 1-point lead. That's what they're going for here, right?
East will try to retake the lead.
Jackson Stebbings to hold.
Mark Linden, the long snapper. St. FX and Felipe Porteza, the kicker. 25 out. Hold is good. Snap was good. Kick is true. And the East retakes the lead.
East takes the lead with 12 minutes left. That was a pretty good drive. You got good field position to start. Couple of Elijah Barnes passes and runs down the sidelines to kind of get you inside the red zone. Ultimately, it's third down. You retake the lead. What more do you want? Now it's on that defense. Mendel Joseph, number 15, the half from Concordia. He's been in at half. He's been at safety. It looks like he's going to be at boundary half for this drive. And listen, he's had quite the game. And I'm expecting him to make an impact right now in the passing attack as they try to air it out with Nick Domovsky.
West takes the ball at the 35 as they elect. This is their right to elect to do. Anyway, Domovsky. Pressure comes, steps away from one. Domovsky, now he's going to be taken down. Elias Amelin from Ottawa was in to start the pressure and cleaning it up. I think it's Gavin Perkins from Manitoba who got the sack.
Elias Amelin has been all over the place today. He's been disruptive off the edge, and it's giving Jackson Brashear last year. It's giving Jackson Brashear last year in East-West. I know Jackson Brashear is a linebacker, but just seeing an Ottawa player on defense give problems from the edge on blitzes and give pressure, it's kind of deja vu all over again.
Moski did take 19 sacks between the regular season and the playoffs. That led all of the OUA. Stands in here, and he nearly threw an interception. Isaac Porter, the safety from Waterloo, broke on the ball. It was overthrown, but it's a quick 2-and-out for Team West, and Team East gets a chance now to tack on to their 1-point lead.
And Matthew Clark ran a deep seam out the backfield, across the middle of the field, and he was wide open. It was just overthrown, really and truly. So the opportunity was there. The ball was just overthrown. And now 2-and-out on the ball, and it's going to go back to Team East.
Matthew Driver, the Queens punter. He'll get into one. This is a good punt as well. Hangs up and is taken by Mendel Joseph. Mendel Joseph makes a move, and he's tracked down from behind, but not before he's across midfield. Isaiah Obiora from Laurier on the tackle.
What I love is that Mendel Joseph has proven today that he can have an impact without the ball in his hands, of course, as a DB. But right there, he proved that he can have an impact with the ball in his hands as a returner.
Yeah, and you mentioned that's going to be a lot of the ways that some of these young players, but if and when they're drafted into the CFL, get on the field in special teams. Can you return? Can you cover? Can you be that gunner that gets downfield? Can you swarm to the football?
Trey Ryder in at quarterback.
Handoff is to Martel Joseph of Sherbrooke. And Jonathan Martel Joseph gains about 4 on first down.
So interesting choice here. Elijah Barnes had the last drive. He looked pretty good. But instead, hey, listen, you got the lead. Go with Trey Ryder, put him in, right, and let him guide this offense down the field with an opportunity to extend that lead with 10 minutes left. This is winning time, Adam. This is winning time. So this is great experience for this young man to have the lead in his hands, and his job now is to hold on to that lead to close out this game and put some more points on the board.
2nd down and 5. Ryder to the outside, and it is complete on the far side. And that'll move the chains.
Peyton Plush on the edge.
Plush, yeah, on the edge again.
Yep, he ran the comeback, and listen, Ryder rolled out and found him. Operational, automatic, not even a thought. He knew what he was doing, followed through, got the ball there, was responsible, didn't overthrow it, didn't underthrow it, right in the breadbasket. Made it easy for his receiver.
That ball may have been hand-picked by Trey Ryder. That's something that's going to be new to U Sports. We'll chat about it after this play.
Oh, we need to. This is news to me.
Handoff is to Martel Joseph. Gain of about 2. So U Sports is moving to a new, smaller ball. That's the same make that the NCAA will use for the 2027 season. So for this game, the QBs and kickers have to pick which ball they want to use. And this season coming up, each school will get to pick the game balls for their home games.
So the ball's going to be smaller this year.
It sounds that's
okay.
The case, yeah.
Okay.
A new, smaller ball. 2nd down and long. The pass out to the far sideline. And enough for a first down.
And that's Xander Matheson.
Xander Matheson from Acadia, the Axeman.
Yeah. Again, automatic by Trey Ryder. But let's talk about this ball thing. Hold on. So we're going to move. U Sports is moving to a smaller ball this year. But schools will still have the option of whether they want to use the older, wider, bigger ball or the newer, smaller ball.
No, they'll just have the option for the specific game balls.
Yes.
But the game ball itself will be uniform in size, but smaller than it is.
Got it.
Now, yeah.
Okay.
I think that's how I would understand it.
All right.
Ryder Hand off to Martel Joseph. And Jonathan Martel Joseph gains about 6 on first down as the time ticks away here, under 8 minutes to play. As Team East is really starting to assert itself here in the ball control game.
And like I said, this is winning time. Okay, you got 7 minutes and change left in the fourth quarter. You're up by 1. You have the ball. You're inside the red zone, or you're knocking on the red zone. There's an opportunity here for you to kind of bleed the clock a little bit. Don't rush. Take your time. And then really and truly, if you can get into the end zone for 6 and plus 1, make it 7, that could be the kill shot to really put this game away.
Handoff, Martel Joseph. Jonathan Martel Joseph gains about 3 on that, 3.5 on that. Are they going to give him the first down or not? Let's see where they spot the ball. Very close to the line to gain.
I want to see the chain gang. That's what I want to see.
Oh, there's a penalty on Team East.
Uh-oh.
So disregard. So I think it's a first down because it's a dead ball penalty. So they got the line to gain, converted the first down, but the post-whistle penalty, a dead ball foul, pushes Team East back to the 30.
At least you get a reset of downs. I think that's still more beneficial for Team East right now.
Yeah, carrying the lead and where they are in the field for sure.
Yeah.
The more snaps that they can count, the better for them, as Suleiman Kamara from the Ottawa GGs rushes for a gain of 5, maybe 6.
Look at that. Gain
We
of
fell
5.
forward. Actually, it's going to be a gain of 7, I think. Yeah.
There you go. You're more than halfway home to the first. The clock, look, a minute has bled off the clock. Now you got 6 minutes and change. You're second down. You're knocking on the red zone. And you could put this game away with a touchdown if you really, really wanted to, if your defense does a great job. But again, bleed out this clock. Take your time.
Under 6 to play. Ryder will throw to the end zone.
PI.
It's a pass interference call coming back towards the football. On the far side, I think was Marc-Andre Shaw. Is that right? Who was on that far side for Team East? No, it was Stebbings.
Let's get a replay. Let's see if we can get a replay to see what happened here. I want to see if the DB looked back at the ball while he was in coverage.
It's a pass interference.
Contact on that. The DB did look back at the last second, but that is enough to draw a pass interference call. It is enough.
It's on Matteo Trasolini, the Alberta linebacker, who averaged 4.3 tackles a game.
And here we go. Look at this. Fresh set of downs. You're inside the red zone. You're inside the 10, if you want to be more specific. And again, just take your time. Let the clock bleed out. 5 minutes and 30 seconds left. No rush, no rush.
Ryder to the end zone. Picked off. Intercepted. Ethan Lang, the Saskatchewan Husky, comes up with the football. And it's a brand new game.
It's a brand new ball game. So let's see if we can get a replay up. He let up on defense. To be honest, he was never truly beat. I would question the decision-making of Trey Ryder on that play, but Ethan Lang, again, you got to take advantage of those, and when those come your way, all you got to do is just really catch the ball and make the play, and he did that to give his team new life. Tristan Aboud in at quarterback, West with the ball.
Aboud. Wind at his back. Through the middle, Ryan Hughes hangs onto the ball, and it's a first down for Team West.
And Ryan Hughes runs a seam across the middle, bends in a little bit to get into the line of vision of Tristan Aboud, and Tristan Aboud finds him with a dot right across the middle for the first down to move these chains and get closer to the 40-yard line. It is winning time now, and the West has the ball, and they're trying to find that end zone. Actually, they don't even need a touchdown. They just need a field goal to take the lead.
Aboud. This time will just check down to Matthew Clark. Clark picks his way through and turns that into a pretty good gain on first down, about 9 or maybe right to the line to gain.
And Matthew Clark has been a very reliable check down option today for Tristan Aboud on a day where the secondary has done their job and taken away a lot of those options. Again, Tristan Aboud went through his reads, 1, 2, 3, found Clark on the check down, and Clark is able to move that ball 8 yards, 2 yards short of the first down, and the West is rolling.
2nd down and 1 after the gain of 9 to Clark. Clark on the handoff again. Clark still on his feet through the midfield. He's taken down low, and that flag comes in. That was a dangerous looking tackle. I think DJ Ryan was in on it from Queens, and it might be he that is penalized.
Dangerous looking hit. Clark is able to run it off, jog it off. Happy to see that. And listen, again, it's 2nd and 8. Hand it off to Clark, and he's able to get 2 yards for the first and more to move the chains, plus that what looked like a face mask penalty to move the ball even more. And now we're on the 35-yard line of the East, and the West is knocking. All they needed to take this lead, again, is a field goal, 3 minutes and 40 seconds and change. No rush. Take your time. Let the clock breathe.
Wind at their back as well. So already very close to the range for Adam Johnson, the kicker from St. Mary's. West has a major on their mind, though. Aboud pulls it out. Far side, complete to Willem Arsenault. Griffin to Griffin, and it moves the sticks again.
Griffin to Griffin. Love to see it. Willem Arsenault runs a little bit of a quick out. Open space, all green, and Tristan Aboud finds him easy for the first.
That's the 3-minute warning. Clock will stop. 26-25, the East leads. Handoff is to Michaud, and the UBC back, Calgary. Gains 3 or 4.
And listen, at this point in the game, you're down by 1, but you're in field goal range. So what you don't want to do is you don't want to rush. Take your time. When the clock starts running, let the clock bleed. Let time pass. You have full control of this game. And Tristan Aboud is your quarterback. And he has had a fantastic day. He has taken care of the ball. He has gone through his reads. He has made responsible decisions. He's made the big play. He's made the small play. He's left the pocket. He's done it all. So if you're Team West, let your quarterback take you home.
Tristan Aboud has been outstanding this afternoon. 2:40 and counting now to play. Michaud in the backfield with Aboud. 2nd down and long. Aboud steps up in the pocket, has time, hit from behind, the ball comes loose. Still on the ground. Is it an incomplete pass? It is.
Wow.
It's an incomplete pass, but who is it again? Alias Amlan.
What a
got
break.
His hand on the football of Tristan Aboud.
Elias Amlan has been disruptive all day, came off the edge, was able to beat his offensive lineman, get behind Tristan Aboud, and listen, that arguably could have been a fumble, right? If the hand flows a different way, if that ball slips out a different way, that's a fumble, incomplete pass. What a break.
Okay, so they've ruled it incomplete, which means on for a field goal to try to take the lead with 2:21 is Adam Johnson, the St. Mary's kicker, the first team All-Canadian. 10 for 12 on the year, 43 was his long. This will be from 30. Driver the holder.
They'll ice the kicker.
And a timeout. Team West has taken the timeout. Long snapper is Maxime Sans-Faction from the York Lions. Holder driver between the kicker Johnson and St. Mary's.
If you're Team East, this is best case scenario. You don't give up a touchdown. Your defense has done their job. Now, 3 on the board is not guaranteed, but if 3 does go up on the board, you're given roughly 2 minutes and 15 seconds to work with left in this football game. And 2 minutes and 15 seconds in Canadian football is a lifetime. A lifetime.
Johnson on to kick. Going to be from 30 yards. The kick is up. Kick is good. Right down the middle. Adam Johnston regains the lead for the West. At this stage, Sean, this is where the competitive juices get flowing, right?
Yeah,
all these players want to make a good impression of
absolutely.
Scouts and coaches that may be here and for their seasons coming up, but it's a football game. There's 2 minutes and 15 seconds, and it's a one-possession football game. Everybody wants to win.
Yeah, you want to win. That's it. That's the name of the game. If you're not playing to win, you shouldn't be playing, right? And I think, Adam, listen, it's all about the situation now, right? Let's think about it. It's 2 minutes, 15 seconds left. The East is about to get the ball back. Depending on where, the return lands, they're going to have a decent amount of field to work with. But also, keep in mind, you don't need to score a touchdown to take the lead. All you need at minimum is a field goal. And who's your kicker? Your kicker is Forteza, the guy with the big leg. So if you're the East.
And with the percentage, the conversion accuracy issues that he's suffered this year.
Absolutely. Right? So if you're the East, you know what you need to do. You don't need to score a touchdown to win this. You just need to get into field goal range. And I think Forteza's field goal range, if I'm being honest with you, it might be around the 45, 40-yard range.
A low lining kick. Takes one hop, and Jonathan Martel Joseph fields it inside the 5. Martel Joseph jitterbugging his way. Martel Joseph near side. Jonathan Martel Joseph to midfield, still on his feet, finally pushed out of bounds. What a return from the Sherbrooke running back.
Best case scenario. Best case scenario, Adam. Martel Joseph is able to catch that ball, find the edge, find open field off the field side. Remember, Forteza's range is around that 40-yard line, so they're around 12 to 15 yards off from his field goal range.
Wind is still whipping. It's in the face, or maybe a bit of a cross from the far corner to your camera view.
Elijah
That will
Barnes.
not help. Barnes is going to try to make it a non-issue. He's going to tuck it. He's going to gain about 3 on first down and get to the sideline.
There you go. You don't need to get too much, right? You want your winner there. You want Elijah Barnes in there. And listen, you don't need to go for the big play. Work the sidelines. Pick up a couple. You're about to get into your kicker's field goal range. Of course, you want to give him some more space, right? You would love to get to 30, maybe even the 20, but you got a lifetime of time, game clock to work with. Check Cedric Smith at the slot at the bottom of your screen, number 1 in the yellow.
Here he goes in motion on the waggle. Barnes is going to look the other way, but he's got Smith who cut across the field, and Smith makes a move. Smith ran that really shallow cross from that near side slot position that you targeted, Deshaun, and it's a first down for Team East.
Yep, there you go. Cedric Smith runs the drag across the field, finds open space. Elijah Barnes is able to just sit in that pocket, be patient, wait for his slot to find green light, and he's able to get it to him and pick up some more yards after the catch. And now they're definitely in field goal range.
All the way down to the 27-yard line, first down. Be around 34-ish yards from here. Handoff is to Dembele Berthet. And he gains 5 down inside the 20.
There you go. You're in field goal range. 1 minute, 18 seconds left. You're down by 3. But field positioning and the situation of the game is in your favor. All you got to do right now is be responsible. Take care of the ball. You can't fumble. You can't turn the ball over. Be precious with the ball in these moments. The clock is ticking. You have this game.
Team East, the head coach Steve Snyder, the offensive coordinator calling the plays, the former Warrior quarterback Jamie Cook, who's the offensive coordinator at York. He'll dial up a run. This is Dembele Berté again. And the push gets him out past the line again, and another fresh set of downs to the 15-yard line for Team East, under a minute to play.
And you got to believe, as Dembele Berté is taking that handoff, you got to believe that the line and the linebackers are trying to strip at that ball and take that ball out, force him to fumble. He's holding on to it for dear life. He's holding on to it for dear life right now because he's basically holding on to this game for dear life, really and truly.
That looks to be the core way that the West is going to salvage this now, is to try to find themselves a turnover. Dembele Berté again. Both hands on the football. Everybody's grabbing at it, but he's down to the 10.
And he's picking up right now. He's averaging around like 5 to 6 yards a carry. Like it's not just carrying the ball for 1 to 2 yards. No, he's going for the first down. In all honesty, he's probably trying to score a touchdown, if I'm being real with you.
And
but
he's
taking care of the ball.
He's taking care of the ball, and he's making the possible game-winning kick
easy
from Philip Forteza. Yeah, simpler and simpler as he runs for 5 and 6.
Here we go.
A carry.
We got 10. We got 10.
And a timeout.
What you might want to do.
Team East here.
What you might want to do if you're Team East, you might want to just maybe line up the ball a little bit to the middle of the field.
That
right?
may be what they're talking about right here, actually, on this timeout.
I think that's the play. I think you want to line up the ball to the middle of the field, and then you call a timeout and you give Forteza a chance to just make a line drive game-winning kick. You don't want him kicking on an angle or anything like that. Make it as easy as you can for your kicker.
Yeah, and that's the one thing. Obviously, we know the difference in the kicking game from the Canadian game because of where the uprights are, but when you're this close to the field and you're on a hash mark, it is a sharper angle, right?
I think they're just going to go straight for the kick. As they should. Yeah, they're going to go straight for the kick.
They're going to go right now.
Here we go. For the win. For the win.
On second down, in case there's an issue with the snap, of course.
Yes. As there has been in the past.
As there has already been. So, 9 seconds. Forteza for the lead. From 17 yards. Snap is good. Hold is good. He missed it. It was partially blocked, I believe. And Team West is going to win.
Oh my goodness.
I think someone on Team West got a hand on it.
What a play. What a play.
Let's take a look to see what we can see here.
While we get a
Here we
replay,
go.
you see
Let's
right
check
here,
it out.
the snap. The snap is good.
I think
Windsor linebacker gets in there.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's Ahmad Taylor.
Gets in there.
Was it Taylor?
Ahmad Taylor gets in there. Ahmad Taylor gets in there, gets his hand on the ball, and is able to tip that ball as it is kicked to win this game. To win this game.
I don't know if he got a hand on it or not. He was there.
He was there. We'll give it to him. Ahmad Taylor gets in there.
What
and
a
arguably
finish.
the biggest play of the game. The biggest play of the game.
The last snap, Team West will win it. And I don't know if Deshaun, on that last slow motion replay, we couldn't tell if Taylor got a hand on it, but at the very least, he's in the periphery of the kicker, Forteza, right?
He got through.
So even if Forteza sees that the last minute, maybe tries, or maybe just has his swing through interrupted just a bit by the sight of Taylor, who had an explosive season last year, by the way, for the Windsor Lancers. He was a second-team All-Canadian and a first-team All-Star. He was second in the country with 8 sacks and 11 tackles for loss. Wow, what a finish in the East-West Bowl. Team West wins it 28-27.
What a game. This has to be a classic, right? This has to be one of the more exciting East-West Bowls of all time. 100%.
What a great game. Now, new this year, there will be an East-West Bowl champion, and we will see the awarding of the Defensive and Offensive Players of the Year. This year, Ted Govaya, Offensive and Defensive MVPs, named for the late Ted Govaya, who was such a champion of youth sports and Canadian grassroots football. We lost him this past year. And so, aptly named the MVP trophies for Ted Govaya. We'll see the awarding of the East and West, the Offensive and Defensive Players of the game.
We have tonight awards presented tonight by our UW Warriors coach, Mr. Chris Bertoya. We will begin with the Offensive Player of the Game award. The Offensive Player of the Game is awarded to the athlete whose performance demonstrated exceptional skill, leadership, and impact on the offensive side of the football. Please join me in congratulating tonight's Offensive Player of the Game. From Team West and the Guelph Griffins, number 8, Tristan Abood.
Tristan Abood is the Offensive Player of the game.
And he had a great game.
What a game he had.
He had a great game. His game has grown this week, and I think that's what's most important. He took care of the ball. He made great decisions. He helped win this game.
Congratulations to tonight's Defensive Player of the Game with one fantastic interception from Saskatchewan. Number 2,
Daniel Kabongo gets the Defensive Player of the game.
Ethan Lang. Ethan Lang, defensive back from Saskatchewan, gets
Ethan
it.
Lang, pardon me.
You know, he had a big interception in the end zone, really and truly, to kind of keep the West team alive.
Ethan Lang, is the player of the game. Who made the pick. There's Ethan Lang's grandfather in the crowd. Look at him. He's proud. Lang's interception kind of turned this game on its head late, didn't it, Deshaun?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it came at a pivotal moment. It came at a pivotal moment when East thought they had this game locked up.
In the end zone as well.
In the end zone, right, did his job and kept this game alive, ultimately.
Here's Team West, the champions. Team West claims the 2026 East-West Bowl 28-27 in a fantastic display of Canadian amateur football at its highest level, Deshaun, and another one in the books, and as you said, maybe one of the best in the history of this game.
Yeah, I think we need to get this game on replay. This needs to be a game that's on replay so that people can watch it in the future. But no, this was an amazing game, competitive from start to finish, an amazing first half, success by an amazing second half and a thrilling fourth quarter, which ended in an improbable, blocked field goal to win the game, something that I don't think ever seen in East-West Bowl history. So, I think big credits to these athletes that came out this week and performed amazingly, practiced amazingly, and ultimately put together a great game. The coaches, the coordinators that put so much effort into developing these young players and making them the best that they can. And of course, I think credits to the University of Waterloo for, the third consecutive year hosting this game and doing an amazing job of hosting these athletes, hosting these players, and bringing this game back to prominence, really and truly. It's become a great event that I think the Kitchener-Waterloo region look forward to every year, and I think the country is slowly getting used to looking forward to coming to Waterloo every year, which is always a great thing. So shout out to Chris Bertoya and his staff for really putting this together and putting forth their best effort and putting their best foot forward.
Yeah, the entire staff of the football program, the entire staff of the athletic department.
Yep.
Of course, hosting this event. It's always an excellent week. It was capped off this year by an excellent football game with a tight finish right at the end. And the future of Canadian professional football is bright. You'll see lots of these players They'll have their names called next spring in the CFL draft and will be part of camps as they open up next spring.
Absolutely.
But for now, we will sign off. So once again, the final, West takes it 28-27 in dramatic fashion. Deshaun Stevens, my name's Adam McGuire. Thank you for joining us. Good afternoon from Warrior Field.